freedom, knee-high to a man. D-backs standing tall with the National League's best record as we open a visit with one of the league's hottest teams, the Phillies, who've won 13 of their last 16. Shine the light. It's the D-backs and Phils on Fox Sports Arizona. Good afternoon from Citizens Bank Park and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. The D-backs beginning their second road trip of the season with the first of three in Philadelphia. Cool temperatures and threatening skies the next 2 days. Tonight, the Phillies have the hard-throwing Vince Velasquez on the mound, and Bob, the D-backs counter with Robbie Ray.
You know, I think Robbie Ray would be the first one to admit he hasn't been at his best yet this year, but he's 2-0 with an ERA just under 5. He struck out 32 batters in 21 2/3 innings. Really good against the Giants last time out, only gave up 3 hits, striking out 9 Giants in 6 innings of work.
This is a hot Phillies club right now. They feel good about themselves. A lot of good young players who have just come up to the major league level, and one of them might be a familiar face to Valley baseball fans.
Yeah, might have some split allegiance from Diamondbacks fans in Ahwatukee. Scott Kingery went to Mountain Point High School, University of Arizona. He's 9 of his 16 hits so far this year have gone for extra bases, and they are 9-0 when he scores a run. So he's definitely a guy you want to keep off base if you're the D-backs.
Phillies coming off a 4-game sweep of the Pirates. They are 9-1 at home this year. First pitch is coming up on Fox Sports Arizona.
D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Buick, visit your local Buick dealer. By Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Santan Ford. We are Santan Ford. By Arizona Tire Pros. Everything rotates around you. By Sling TV. Live TV you love, only better. And by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free Jumbo Jacks. Only at Jack in the Box.
D-backs off to a 15-6 start. That's the best record in the National League as we open a 6-game road trip through Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. Rain possible, more likely for later on tonight and all day tomorrow, we are told. So we'll hope for the best here at Citizens Bank Park. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly, and Todd Walsh along the way. D-backs and Phillies, the first of three. And here's the starting lineup for Toy Lavello's ball club. It's presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
As usual, David Peralta in the leadoff spot, ready to run up to home plate and take his at bat. He'll be out in left field. Cattell Marte at second base. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. A.J. Pollock will be out in center field with Daniel Descalso at third. Nick Ahmed at short. Alex Avila behind the plate. Gerard Dyson getting the nod in right field tonight. And left-hander Robbie Ray on the mound.
The weather here is not great. We are told rain is expected for later tonight and throughout the night and into tomorrow. So the next 24, 36 hours could be a little dicey here. It is cool. Temperatures right now in the low 60s. It's going to get chillier and wetter as the night goes on. So, Bob, that leads us into your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
get an early lead. Find a way to score early in this ball game, just in case we have weather issues later this evening.
Thursday is supposed to be okay, but tonight and tomorrow,
Yeah, we were down in Torrey's office before the game. He said he was getting updated every hour from the weather service and the grounds crew here at Citizens Bank Park, but even that changed from hour to hour. We understand that the Orioles have already been rained out, and that's just about an hour from here.
Yeah, the cold and wet weather, snow in fact in many places, that has plagued the East and the Midwest for much of this early portion of the season is still hanging around the East Coast here. It's also going to be a thin crowd tonight because right across the parking lot, the Philadelphia 76ers are hosting the Miami Heat Game 5, and right now the city, coming off a Super Bowl win, has NBA fever, so the crowd thin, to say the least, here tonight for the baseball game.
Thin is a good way to describe it. We're glad they're here. These are the baseball fans in Philly. You know, the sports fans in general, or the hoops fans, are across the street.
D-backs for a long time could not win in Philadelphia, losing 18 of 22 here during one stretch, but they've now won their last 7 games at Citizens Bank Park. That's a club record. And now the Phillies are on the field, and we're just about set to go. Your Ram truck starter for the Phillies, Vince Velasquez, 25-year-old right-hander. 1 win in 4 starts so far, but a hard thrower, consistent mid-90s fastball, 24 strikeouts this year against only 5 walks.
Now the fastball is the big weapon for Velasquez. He'll throw it a lot when he's behind in the count, so watch for the Diamondbacks to try to work counts, get into those good hitters counts, and sit on that fastball. He also has a curve, a slider, and a changeup, but it all works off that mid-90s heater.
Oh, look around the diamond at the Phillies defense. That's brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Reese Hoskins will be out in left field. Another Valley resident, Aaron Altair, out in center field. Scott Kingery, we talked about, from Mountain Point High School. He'll be out in right field. Mikael Franco at third base. Pedro Florimon at shortstop. Cesar Hernandez at second base. Carlos Santana at first base. Jorge Alfaro doing the catching for right-hander Vince Velasquez.
Phillies coming off that 4-game sweep of the Pirates here at Citizens Bank Park. They are hot. Umpires tonight: Gabe Morales behind the plate with the balls and strikes. Ed Hickok at first base. John Tumpane at second. And the crew chief, Jerry Meals, is our third base ump tonight. David Peralta in the box, and we are set to go. First of 3, the D-backs and the Phillies from Citizens Bank Park. Peralta, 310 and 2 home runs this year. Phillies won Sunday's game in the 11th inning. Their first 4-game series sweep of the Pirates since 1994 at the Vet. 9-1 at home this year. And we're underway with strike 1 from Velasquez. Peralta, as Torey Lovullo called him the other day, the unsung hero. He's been a unique and seemingly perfect fit for this leadoff role. Here's another fastball from Velasquez, 0-2. 60 degrees at first pitch, and going to get cooler. All gas from Velasquez. 1 down. He's got that big fastball, and he will come at you with it.
And it's not a normal fastball, not an ordinary fastball. It is straight as a laser beam, but 95 and 96 on those deliveries to David Peralta. You got to turn it up a little bit.
Ketel Marte, second baseman, 221 and 1 home run. Ketel has hit safely in 12 of his last 16 games. Mention that Phillies 9-1 home start this year. They've won 7 straight home games. 9-1. Their best home start since they were 9-1 to open the 1964 season at Old Connie Mack Stadium. Side note, that 64 season did not end well. But they're off to a terrific start. Good core group of young players here. They're excited about their future.
And no, I did not play against that 64 Phillies team.
I wasn't insinuating. Well, they have a young manager, rookie skipper Gabe Kapler, who does things a little differently here. 2-1 on Marte. Franco went on the grass at third. This is down and in at 96, and it's 3-1.
Not only a rookie manager, but 4 coaches on his staff their first go round at the major league level. First base coach Jose Flores, the bullpen coach Jim Gott, Pedro Guerrero, the assistant hitting coach, and Dusty Wathan, the third base coach, all their first experience at Major League Baseball. All very good baseball guys who have been in the game a long time, but their first taste of the field as a coach at the major league level.
Goldie will be next. Yeah, Gabe Kapler may be something of a humanist, certainly sabermetrically inclined guy, and he has a very unique and different approach, that's for sure. Marte doing what we've seen him do so often now, extending these at bats and fouling off a lot of pitches. Velasquez, when he gets ahead with his fastball, will come at you with a curveball slider combo. Usually saves the slider for right-hand hitters. He'll throw that curveball to lefties. Broken bat roller to second. Hernandez from the grass. Another fastball, 2 down.
And not only does he have a high-octane fastball out there on the mound, he throws from such a smooth delivery. Guys that have a very smooth, even delivery and then bust it up there in the mid-90s, it seems to jump on a hitter a little more than a herky-jerky guy throwing 95. It almost lulls you to sleep with that windup.
Their pitching staff so far, especially their rotation, has been outstanding. Here's Goldie. Fastball is there at 94. Ball 278. He's got 4 home runs. Pops it up behind second. Loramone is there, the shortstop. And Velasquez works a 1-2-3 first. Robbie Ray coming up from Philadelphia. For the D-backs is Robbie Ray. Robbie comes into tonight 2-0 in 4 starts, 32 strikeouts in less than 22 innings.
He's been really good. As I mentioned, last time out against the Giants was especially good, and on the road he's been great since the beginning of last year. A 9-1 record in 17 road starts with an ERA just over 2.
Cesar Hernandez getting on base at better than a 400 clip is the leadoff man for Gabe Kapler. The switch hitting second baseman. Descalso even with a bag at third. Fastball down and in, and it's 0-1. Hernandez already starting in with Gabe Morales there. He's hitting .280, 2 homers. Maybe the most consistent player on what is for now a very young team. He will bunt for a base hit. He's done it 3 times this year. And there is that arm side fastball sailing up and away on Robbie, as it has really since the first day.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on. He had some mechanical issues earlier in this season. He thought he had corrected, but he still misses up and away quite often to right-handed hitters with that fastball.
Hernandez fights it off. Sounded like he broke his bat, dunks it into right field, the leadoff single. Here's the lineup for the Phillies, brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Cesar Hernandez leads it off with a base hit to the opposite field. He'll be at second base with Carlos Santana at first base. Scott Kingery out in right field. Rhys Hoskins will be in left field. Aaron Altair out in center. Michael Franco at third base. Pedro Florimon at shortstop. Jorge Alfaro behind the plate, and Vince Velasquez, the right-hander, on the mound.
Carlos Santana, after 8 seasons in Cleveland, off to a slow start with the Phils. Got to keep an eye on Hernandez. He's got 5 stolen bases already this year. The fastball's a strike, and it's 0-1.
A lot of high-octane fastballs in this game tonight. Robbie Ray already up into the mid-90s here in the early going, and we saw his opposite number, Velasquez, consistently in the mid-90s in the top of the first.
Avila keeps it in front. Hernandez stays put at first.
That bears repeating. A lot of those Robbie Ray sliders and the slower breaking ball are going to end up in the dirt. Alex Avila knows that going in. If you put down anything other than number 1, you got to be ready to block it.
This down and away, 2 balls and 1 strike on Santana, who hit the free agent market last winter, got 3 years and $60 million from the Phillies. He's been hitting the ball very hard all season, just hasn't had too many dropping in for hits. He's been their tough luck guy so far. You figure Santana, with his track record of tremendous plate discipline, a switch hitter, a ton of power from the left side, he'd be a tremendous fit for this ballpark. And you got to believe that once the weather warms up, so will his bat. Missed up and away again. It's 3-1. Kingery on deck. Santana limboed out of the way of that one. That was in the strike zone. That was right out of the Manny Ramirez playbook right there.
Yeah, 3-1. He was looking for something up and out over the plate. Started to dive a little bit. When Robbie threw that 95-mile-an-hour heater back on the inside part of the plate, it locked him up.
Santana makes you throw him strikes. He's got 10 walks in the last 9 games. So he will not chase pitches out of the zone very often. Full count, 3-2.
Looks like they're coming back in with a fastball again.
Well, he elevated, and Santana did chase after that one. Robbie gets his first strikeout. Let's take a look around the diamond at the D-backs defensively. That's presented by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Gerard Dyson's already been busy out in right field. A.J. Pollock will be in center field. David Peralta over in left. It'll be Descalso at third base tonight with Nick Ahmed at short, Ketel Marte at second, and Paul Goldschmidt at first. Alex Avila behind the plate for left-hander Robbie Ray.
Here's the kid, the Valley native Scott Kingery, the rookie at 229. He's homered twice at a Mountain Point High School in Ahwatukee in the U of A, where he was Pac-12 Player of the Year only 3 years ago.
You saw the batting average, not where Kingery would like it to be, but as I mentioned in the open, 9 of his 16 hits this season have gone for extra bases.
He was a second-round draft pick by the Phillies. He was on that Valley Little League World Series team back in '06. Terrific product of baseball programs on the youth level in Arizona that's turned out so many great players. Aaron Altair from Avondale. And here's Kingery from Mountain Point. Fastball away, 0-2.
Kingery picked up some hardware before the ball game today. He was the minor league defensive player of the year last year. For Gabe Kapler here at the major league level, he's kind of roamed around, played different positions, but I think second base he would probably say is his best position.
Minor league Gold Glover there last year, but they like where Hernandez is at second, so Kingery is floated all over. There goes Hernandez, and Kingery pulls it down the line, foul. Hernandez has been so solid and consistent that they're not anxious to move him off second base right now, so they're finding other places on the field for Kingery's bat. He's played third base, shortstop, second base, left field. He's in right field tonight.
He actually played shortstop at Mountain Point High School. His brother was the second baseman, Sam Kingery. He probably has a little separation anxiety. They were twins. They still are twins.
Nothing's changed. Second strikeout for Robbie. 2 down. Here comes Rhys Hoskins.
Good location there. 2 strike counts. You have to be ready to protect, and Robbie scoots it just far enough out off that outside corner to get the swing and a miss.
This is the big bat in the lineup, Rhys Hoskins. 323, 4 home runs. That OPS over 1,000 helped in part by Hoskins leading the majors in on-base percentage. This is a guy who sees a lot of pitches, like many of these young Phillies hitters.
Yeah, over 4.5 pitches per at bat in the early going this season.
I mean, there's where Rhys Hoskins is, as Torey Lovullo was telling us before the game today. He is not a secret anymore.
No. And he pointed out that he is the guy you don't want up there to the plate with a chance to do some damage late in the game. He's the guy that they would rather pitch to just about anybody else.
Yeah, they will look for somebody else in this lineup to beat them. Here's the breaking ball, and Robbie's ahead 0-2. Hoskins with some big power. He's homered in 2 of his last 4 games, as the Phillies swept all 4 from the Pirates here over the weekend. And he can turn on a fastball, Rhys Hoskins. Hard to get one by him.
He hit 38 home runs a couple of years ago in Reading, and then came back last year between Lehigh Valley, AAA, and the big leagues, and hit 47, including 18 here at the major league level.
0-2. Yeah, Hoskins created a lot of headlines last year. Came up to the big leagues for the first time in the middle of August, a 5th-round pick out of Cal State Sacramento. And he hit 11 home runs in his first 14 games in the big leagues. Everyone was saying, have you seen this Rhys Hoskins guy in Philly?
Who?
He hits a home run every night, it seems.
Well, until I played him and beat the streak.
Well, you were the cooler. 11 of his first 18 major league hits were home runs. which is impressive when you're talking about a guy who leads the league right now in on-base percentage. So he's far from just a slugger up there.
Yeah, it's a nice combination. A guy that can hit the ball a mile, but yet knows his own strike zone and doesn't get himself out. You've got to execute good pitches to get this guy.
One ball and 2 strikes. Hernandez takes off, and Hoskins fouls that one away. Pretty good wind blowing right now across the outfield from right to left toward the left field foul pole. And you see downtown Philadelphia in the background here. We're just a short drive outside the city, 5-10 minutes depending on the traffic.
Or 45 minutes, the bus ride this afternoon.
Yeah, I felt like today would be an early bus day. I anticipated.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Plus I wanted to be the first guy in line for ice cream here. 1-2. Fastball is in there. Robbie Ray, a leadoff single, and 3 straight strikeouts. No score after 1. Forget you can stream live D-backs games on any of your mobile devices with Fox Sports Go. It's presented by T-Mobile. Download the free app, take Fox Sports Arizona, and the D-backs with you wherever you go. We're here in Philadelphia, first of 3 at Citizens Bank Park. A.J. Pollock leads off the second against Vince Velasquez. AJ hitting .270.
Well, you were talking about Gabe Kapler and some new wave ideas. This is what you call bunching your outfielders. Center fielder Altair playing a few steps toward the gap in left center, but both corner outfielders cheating toward the gap.
Yeah, they're awfully close together out there. Everything wide open down the line. 1-1 now. AJ has homered in 2 of his last 3 games. Leads the D-backs in homers and RBIs. There's that Velasquez fastball. Gabe Kapler has challenged Velasquez to attack, trying to convince him that his stuff is so good that he can go after the league's best hitters and challenge him. So that's what he's been doing this year. That explains the 24 strikeouts versus only 5 walks. .96 up and in. Good example right there. He gets his second strikeout.
Well, he hasn't had to throw much in the way of secondary stuff in the early going today. When you've got a 95, 96 mile an hour heater and you're spotting it the way Velasquez is, why mess around with secondary pitches until you need to?
Yeah, that's what they've been trying to drill into his head. Go right after these guys. Descalso, the third baseman tonight. 184, he's homered twice. Jake Lamb still working out in Phoenix, down for the moment with right elbow tendonitis. And Torre was telling us before the game today, Jake is still busy taking at bats in Phoenix, working out, and he's going to begin a throwing program soon. He said Steven Souza Jr. is in his office every day. Let me play.
Can Steven come out and play?
But they are really trying to make sure that he's 100% before they activate him. It's his birthday today, by the way, so happy birthday, Steven.
Birthday.
Torre was telling us about Jake. You know, he's worked out so hard trying to come back from the left shoulder sprain, and now he's got the right elbow tendonitis. His body's just kind of off kilter right now because it's out of its regular routine. Velasquez at 97, fastball away, gets his third strikeout.
Some pretty good fastball hitters getting fastballs thrown right by him here in the first couple innings of this game. Both ways.
Yeah. Nick Ahmed now. Nick batting 197 with 3 home runs. Tied for second on the D-backs at RBIs. He homered in Sunday's win over San Diego. .94 right down the middle. This was Nick on Sunday. Second time this year he's knocked one into that D-backs bullpen down the left field line.
Waited really nicely on an off-speed pitch that time in the middle of the plate. Got it high in the air to left field. There's a curveball.
0-2. Missed the glove, but he found the strike zone at 97. He struck out 4 of the first 6 he's faced. No score. no score in the second inning. Whoa! Dramatic music.
Wow.
For the first
big.
Well, it is. It's the NFL draft for the first time ever. It's live on Fox. Join Troy Aikman and Joel Klatt. They're in Dallas for all the big picks. Thursday, Friday, live on Fox and the NFL Network. They don't really care about football here. It's a secondary sport, really.
Yeah, been there, done that.
How did the Eagles do this year, anyway? I didn't see. You know, after they scored those 2 touchdowns that shouldn't have counted in that last game. Oh, never mind. Aaron Altair, the Avondale native, 157, a pair of homers. You can't talk like that around here. They get mad at you.
Or worse.
Yeah, exactly right. The first one was not a catch. The second one, the tight end was down before he went. Okay, never mind. 2-0. You should see the looks I'm getting up here.
Or worse.
Or worse, yes. Yeah, who's a big Eagles fan is Mike Trout. He's from Millville, New Jersey, just on the other side. And he's always fly, Eagles fly.
The Eagles would probably like to have him.
I'd take him as a football player, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he looks like a football player.
Sure does. He runs like one. Robbie Ray, 3 strikeouts in the first. So far, these 2 pitchers have combined for 7 punchouts already.
This is some good old-fashioned hardball here in the early going tonight. 2 pitchers with outstanding fastballs, willing to challenge the opposing lineup.
All 4 first base on balls issued tonight. That'll bring up Michael Franco. Franco, 241, 2 home runs. He's been scuffling a bit lately. Leadoff man aboard for the Phillies for the 2nd consecutive inning. Altair does have a stolen base. He's been caught twice this year. Fastball in. It's 1-0. Franco homered in back-to-back games, April 5th and 7th here at Citizens Bank Park against Miami. But since then, he's hit only .205 in his last 11 games. Just 1 extra base hit over that span. Breaking balls to strike 1-1. Franco last season 24 homers, but he batted only .230 for the year. That's a drop of 25 points in batting average from the previous season. He was up and down and all over the place last year. But still just 25 years old. Everybody on this team, it seems, is 24, 25.
Yeah, Velasquez, the pitcher for him tonight's 25. Yeah, they got a lot of young players on this ball club, which is part of the reason I think they brought Carlos Santana on board, a guy that's had an exemplary career. He's seen it all, done it all, helped some of these youngsters over the speed bumps.
And Kingery's only 23. He'll turn 24 in a week. Breaking ball upstairs for a strike, 1-2. And even you know, the guys that have been here for a while. You know, Odubel Herrera is 26. You know, Franco 25. All these guys coming up to the big league level together. So it's a real core group here. The fly ball to Dyson in right field, backing up near the warning track. That's the first out in the second.
Hey fans, the day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
They have another youngster, their shortstop J.P. Crawford, who's only 23, but they like to sort of shepherd him away from left-hand pitching. And so Pedro Florimon is the shortstop, the switch hitter. 2 for 11 at the plate this year, making just his 2nd start all season. Keeping Altair close. Florimon, parts of 8 years in the big leagues. He's been around a bit. The Orioles, the Twins, the Pirates. Now in his second season with the Phillies. Fastball right there. One takeaway from Robbie Ray's last outing was the velocity. Torey Lovullo thought it looked like that was climbing back to where we saw it last year. The velocity had been down just a tick early this month for Robbie, but it's kind of creeping its way back up. Fights that one off and knocks it into right field. 2 on and 1 out. Here's the catcher, Jorge Alfaro. 186 with a homer. This is a guy who has struck out in nearly half his at bats this year. The number 8 hitter, the pitcher Velasquez, on deck. Altair, the runner at second, Florimon at first, and 1 out. Robbie getting that fastball in. Right in on the hands of the right-hander. It's 0-1. Alfaro's home run back on April 7th here against the Marlins. Still his only extra base hit all season. Funny, the Phillies very much like the Diamondbacks. They're not quite as good defensively, but their offense does not wow you. They're middle of the pack or lower in most of the National League's offensive categories, but they are winning with solid starting pitching and a good bullpen. Started off a bit of a bumpy ride for Gabe Kapler. He was booed here in the home opener. They opened up 1-4. But since then, the Phillies have won 13 of their last 16 games. They're rolling right now. And the boos have stopped, at least for the moment.
For now.
Yeah, exactly right.
It is Philadelphia.
Give them a chance.
You think of probably the most popular manager to ever put on the Phillies pinstripes, Charlie Manuel. And Charlie Manuel couldn't be more opposite than Gabe Kapler. Charlie was old school, hang around the batting cage and chew tobacco and spit and go play some hardball. And Gabe Kapler got a wall full of computer monitors in his office.
Tied him up, and Robbie gets his 4th strikeout. 2 down, and the pitcher Velasquez will hit.
Like a hard slider worked its way down and in. Alfaro swings right over the top and bear down on Velasquez. Now, it's been a while since he swung the bat in anger as a youth, but he was a really good hitter in high school.
Well, he is 3 for 6 this year. Two on and 2 out. 5 swings and misses so far for Robbie Ray. .95 down at the knees. He's faced 9 batters, 7 first pitch strikes.
A 118 batting average with runners in scoring position. 0 for 8 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. You love that.
Buried a breaking ball down there, and it's 1-1.
Well, if a pitcher's going to act like a hitter, you have to pitch him like a hitter. This guy looks very comfortable up there in that right-handed batter's box, but Robbie's made some pretty good right-handed hitters look silly already. Just make your pitches.
Missed with a fastball, and he's behind 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, he definitely missed with that pitch, but I take that as a positive sign because he missed down and in with a fastball to a right-hander. Really got through that pitch, finished out in front, missed off the plate inside, but as we mentioned earlier in the game, so many times Robbie, when he's missed the zone, it's been up and away from right-handed hitters.
Another one at 95. We are seeing that more consistent mid-90s velocity here on a cool night in Philadelphia. Rain on the way. Two on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got him. Robbie Ray gets his 5th strikeout. He strands 2. No score after 2.
Hey, fans, a D-backs home run tonight means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack-in-the-Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
The pitcher's duel so far. The Phillies right-hander Vince Velasquez, 6 up, 6 down. He's already got 4 strikeouts, and the fastballs are flying here tonight.
Yeah, 28 total strikeouts this season for Velasquez. 23 of them have come on 4-seam fastballs. That's, like I said, this is just old-fashioned hardball here tonight. Both guys really throwing the ball well.
Alex Avila will lead off the D-back third. And I know you were chasing Alex down before the game today. What was that all about?
Well, I noticed his walk-up music at Chase Field was a song called Icky Thump. Jack White, White Stripes, you know, hard rock and roll. And I tried to put 2 and 2 together. Coming from Detroit, that's where Jack White was from. So I asked him, is that the reason for the music? He says, yeah, I met Jack White. He was a big Tigers fan. Used to come out to the ballpark all the time. So that's why he uses White Stripes music.
Yeah, that's right in your wheelhouse.
I need to find out now. Matt Cook also uses a White Stripe song for his Take the Mound music. So I got to get with Cookie tomorrow.
Developing story.
If we get both of them out there at the same time, look out.
Same battery. Just crank it up. So here's Avila to lead off the third. Dyson and then the pitcher spot. There's another fastball. Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game. The shift is on. They'll leave the third baseman Franco midway between second and third.
12 outs recorded in this ball game, 9 via the strikeout.
Robbie has 5. Velasquez has 4. Even with the infield overloaded to the right side, Altair in center is shaded over toward left center field. And Kingery well off the line in right field.
Now they give Alex a lot of room down that right field line and a little bit in the right center field gap.
2-1. Alex at the plate, just missing some pitches right now. He's punched out 15 times in his last 24 at bats. But he's actually chasing pitches outside the strike zone less often than he did last year. He might be being too selective up there. Gets one in the air. Kingery in right field is going to watch it sail way over his head.
Oh, my.
Alex Avila, his second, and it's 1-0 D-backs.
Feel like we ought to be playing some White Stripes music. Man, did he step on that one.
He got a 2-1 pitch from Velasquez, who gives up just his second home run this year.
Well, he just sells out to hit a fastball right here and gets one at 96 on the inner third of the plate. Oh, my. Been waiting on that one for a while. Alex hit that off the facing of the second deck out there in deep right center field.
That's that left-hand power. That's a jumbo jack, a free jumbo jack tomorrow. A Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink. Gerard Dyson gets a fastball, 0-1. There's going to be a run at some point over the summer where Alex is doing that every other day. And the cold swings and misses in April will be long forgotten. Velasquez jumps ahead with 2 fastballs. Dyson 160 to start the year. As we've already seen, Velasquez capable of putting up some big strikeout numbers. He's punched out 7 in each of his last 2 starts. 2 seasons ago, he struck out 16 Padres in throwing a 3-hit shutout. Dyson gets into one, and there it goes. Avila and Dyson back to back. That's the first of the year for Gerard. And the D-backs have a 2-0 lead.
Well, we know Gerard Dyson has power. We saw him bang a triple off the center field wall at Chase Field during that last homestand. That didn't really look like a home run pitch, a fastball up and out over the plate, but he gets out around the ball and hooks it back to right field. Another long home run.
And another jumbo jack. Free jumbo jack tomorrow with Jack in the Box. The pitcher, Robbie Ray. Well, Velasquez had given up only 1 home run all year in 4 starts. And now he's given up 2 homers within 6 pitches. As Avila and Dyson, the numbers 7 and 8 hitters, go back to back here in the 3rd.
Talk a lot about those bottom of the order rallies. Usually it involves just somebody getting on base at the bottom of the order. You don't expect the 7 and 8 hitter both to go deep the way they did tonight.
Especially against a guy who just struck out the side in the 2nd, getting the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. This is out to shallow left. Hoskins is under it. And that's the first out in the 3rd. Well, Velasquez's previous start was against the Braves in Atlanta. That was last Wednesday. And he got the loss, but he didn't pitch badly. 3 runs, 6 innings. He had 7 punch-outs. He struck out Peralta to lead off the ballgame. Didn't get a fastball that time. 0-1. Starting to mix it up here second time through.
Yeah, I think that's that hard changeup. That changeup at 88, much like Zach Greinke throws his changeup very hard. Velasquez, when your fastball's in the mid-90s, 88 is a changeup.
Jorge Alfaro behind the plate. Bounced a fastball up there at 97. And you can see Velasquez, just based on the body language, a little rattled right now.
Kind of slipped on his delivery that time and spiked one in the dirt. Came off the mound, snapped the throw back from Alfaro, dropped it on the ground, visibly upset after giving up back-to-back bombs.
Frustrated there, fastball right down the middle. Pacing back and forth. The heater at 97, his fifth strikeout. He's gotten Peralta twice.
As David talking to himself on the way back to the dugout. Started the sequence with a slider. We saw the hard changeup. It finishes him off with a high fastball.
Ketel Marte grounded out his first time up. D-backs off to an early 2-0 lead. They have won their last 7 games in this ballpark. That's a club record.
Back-to-back changeups to start this sequence to Marte. One at 90, one at 89. A lot of pitchers in the major leagues that would pay to have a fastball that swift.
In the air along the left field line, Hoskins drifting over there. And that's the end of the third. But Avila and Dyson go back-to-back against Vince Velasquez. And these things were crushed. The second for Avila, the first for Gerard. 2-0 Diamondbacks in Philadelphia.
Steve and Bob, I just want to interrupt this pitch.
Please.
Can I do that? I haven't done that in months.
It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
It's like old times.
Yeah, sort of it is. Or
not.
There you go. I didn't step on it. I just wanted to say that it meant the world to me as we're looking at Archie Bradley to be able to interrupt this pitch in this inning, my first hit of the year, to talk about. Guess what? Are you ready for this?
Hockey.
No.
Oh.
Nice try. You should have checked your used board there. Cheesesteaks.
Well, that's at the top of the list here, of course.
Yeah, and Steve, I bumped into you, or you bumped into me, I should say, in the lobby of the hotel yesterday on our off day, and I don't know if you realized, but I was drinking a cup of coffee and getting ready to go eat cheesesteaks.
Preparing emotionally, mentally.
It's all of those things, as you know, Bob, and I went with these guys. Matt Cook and Yoshi Hirano. They had never hit in the mean streets of Philadelphia, never experienced the whole thing that is the cheesesteak experience. They went to a couple of joints.
Oh, nice.
I was only there for them early just to kind of integrate them in how you go about ordering. I've said this many times over the years when we come here. You have to have a swagger. You have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like the soup Nazi.
That's exactly.
Yeah, there are rules.
See, you should have come with me.
Well, I'm here as a creative consultant.
Always, and I appreciate that. But
now you didn't go to Pat and Gino's, the two that are across the street from each other in South Philly.
No, you see, we wanted to give them a soft landing, some of the higher end joints yesterday, because then they know what they're doing.
The restaurant we just saw was a higher end joint.
Exactly right.
Wow. Ahoy polloi. You're like Winthorpe standing out there looking in through the glass with a fish and a Santa suit, right?
Boy, oh my goodness. There's a walk. But I wanted those guys to feel comfortable, because you cannot walk into those establishments that you just mentioned on South Street timid. And Bob, you know the drill. You got to understand the whole cheese thing.
With without.
Exactly.
I'm a Tony Luke's man myself.
Yeah, pretty good.
I went to the other two. The wife and I did that last time we were here. And we ate at both of them for comparison, but BB and I are Tony Luke's men.
I can tell. Yeah.
You can tell, I'm sure.
Oh, you're loyal.
Carlos Santana.
I did ask Archie Bradley today, for no reason. I don't know why. I just walked up to him in the clubhouse. There's a called strike, and I said, "Hey, cheesesteak or no cheesesteak?" And if you can imagine this, and I'll get out of your way, he said that he and Jeff Mathis shared a cheesesteak today in the clubhouse.
How romantic.
I just can't picture that.
Well, but they make them. They have a guy down there.
Yeah, they got a guy.
And they're supposed to be unbelievable.
But sharing.
I have this vision of Lady and the Tramp in my mind.
I
can't get it out.
Santana has a base hit to left field, so a walk and a single start the Philly third against Robbie Ray.
All right, well, I'll get out of this scoring opportunity here, but I will say tomorrow on the pregame show we'll hit the streets of Philadelphia. You guys will see how Yoshi and Matt, how they fared in round one of their
round one
experience.
There's more?
They went to a couple of places.
All right. Some of the higher end joints.
Yeah.
Yes.
According to Yelp. All right. Thank you. Great to see you guys.
Todd Walsh, ladies and gentlemen. Who, by the way, I always like to check in with you. Who won the Selke Trophy this year?
It hasn't been called yet.
Well, what are they waiting for? Will they wait the end of the season?
Yeah, you know they drag that stuff out.
There they are, right there. All right.
Selke brothers.
Scott Kingery. Good hockey talk with Todd Walsh. Bruins big game 7 tonight, by the way.
Oh yeah.
The Leafs.
Up north, eh?
Hey. Well, Robbie Ray handed a 2-0 lead, but he's got 2 on and no outs for the heart of the order here. Kingery struck out his first time up. Hernandez at second and Santana at first. Laid on a breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Are you a big cheesesteak guy? Do you go hunting all over the city for the best one, or do you just?
Just depends on the party I'm with. I would highly recommend Pat's and Gino's after closing time. That is a freak show over there.
Wait, but they're closed.
Oh no.
You can. Oh, you know a guy. You go.
They're open late.
Oh,
when the weather's nice in the summer and people are out and about, and some of the local establishments close, everybody heads to Pat's and Gino's. It's quite a show.
That's like a scene from a Rocky movie or that Invincible movie with Marky Mark.
Yeah, there you go. Over in the neighborhoods.
Yeah, some
South
characters.
Philly, yeah. But I'm with you. I'm a Tony Luke's guy.
It is, I think, the best one. There's so many different ones here. But the beauty of Pat and Gino's is they're right across the street from each other, and they're both set up with picnic tables outside. You Go to one, walk across the street, go to the other.
The first time I went to Pat's and Gino's, I was a very young player at the major league level, and some of the veterans took me because it's something you have to see when you go to Philly. And
oh, yeah.
so we went very late at night, and there was a wedding party at Pat's.
How romantic.
Oh, just lovely.
I'm told, by the way, they're open 24 hours now.
Well, there you go.
So after hours still applies. Robbie Ray, 50 pitches, 32 strikes. He's walked 2, he struck out 5. Ahead of Kingery, 1-2. Pokes that one foul down the right field line. Scott Kingery is such a highly regarded prospect that the Phillies have already signed him to a long-term contract. Now, he's only played a handful of games in the big leagues, but he's got in his back pocket a 6-year, $24 million deal. He got that at the end of spring training. And with some option years, he could be here through 2026. He's all locked up. That's what they think of this young man. That buys you a lot of cheesesteaks.
Oh, yeah, it does. I haven't seen a lot of Scott Kingery, just some highlights here and there, but if that last swing is any indication, he really shortens up with 2 strikes. Just wants to make contact, put the ball in play somewhere.
Big swing at a breaking ball, and Robbie has his 6th strikeout. Second time he's got Kingery tonight.
Boy, just buries that slider down and in.
Robbie getting himself in trouble. The leadoff man has reached base for the Phillies at all 3 innings so far, but all 6 of his strikeouts have come with a runner on base. So he's working his way out of trouble, but he's going to have to be careful here with Rhys Hoskins. Hoskins struck out looking to end the first. Watch his front foot and the way it comes up just briefly and hovers off the ground right there. It doesn't actually come straight up. It's almost like his knee comes back toward his back leg, and then he just unloads and he can hammer a fastball. A lot of guys have those big exaggerated leg kicks or a toe tap. He kind of brings it just up a little bit and it hovers there for half a beat, but it comes back toward his back leg, which is interesting.
All about weight transfer. Go from a balanced stance to get the weight onto your back foot and then drive into the ball.
We always hear about guys trying to load up their backside. Is that sort of along the same lines?
At some point, most good hitters get their weight on that back leg and then their stride, or just lift the front foot and put it back down, whatever that happens to be that they use to approach the ball. But yeah, Rhys Hoskins is very cool about the way he does it. Some guys, it's almost a jerk, like a pitcher going through a windup and lifting that front leg. He just kind of gets that foot up off the ground, gets his weight onto that back foot, and then glides into his stride.
Robbie behind, 2 balls and no strikes. Missed inside with a fastball, and it's 3-0. Aaron Altair on deck. This is along the lines of what Torrey was hinting at before the game. They are going to look for someone else other than Rhys Hoskins to beat them here tonight.
And you get the feeling Rhys Hoskins has the green light whenever he wants to swing the bat. So a dangerous pitch right here. Way out of the zone.
And the bases are loaded with 1 out. 3rd walk, 2nd in this inning, issued by Robbie Ray. And Altair will hit. Time for a mound visit. Altair walked to lead off the 2nd.
Well, with Alex Avila and Nick Ahmed out at the mound, now the entire infield will join as Mike Butcher heads out there. We talked about this the other day. If the catcher goes out or one of your infielders goes to the mound, it's going to be a mound visit anyway, so the pitching coach might as well get out there and contribute to the conversation.
Well, it's one thing to say, okay, Hoskins is hot, he's killing the ball right now, we'll kind of work around him. But once you do that, especially with 2 runners already on, you got to figure something else out. And we'll see what they come up with here. Bases full, 1 out for Altair. Aaron Altair 3 for 3 with a triple in the Phillies win here Sunday against the Pirates to complete a 4-game sweep. He had the walk-off single in the 11th that won it. So a big day for him on Sunday. The Phillies were off yesterday. Aaron Altair's first career walk-off hit, and now here he is with the bases full. He didn't even start that game, but wound up with 3 hits. First pitch, breaking ball, and Robbie steals strike 1.
I'm guessing you'll see a lot of hard sliders from Robbie Ray in this at bat. That's his best ground ball pitch. His fastball is fairly straight. A lot of times it gets hit in the air when it gets put into play, but that slider has a lot of downward movement. It's a ground ball pitch.
Fouls off the 0-1. Robbie ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Altair got off to a very slow start. He was 3 for 39 in his first 14 games this year, but he started to pick up the pace offensively. Hernandez at third, Santana at second, and Hoskins at first.
I think that's a fastball Robbie wanted to leave out there. Possibly set up the next hard slider down and in. Get that ground ball he's looking for.
He hasn't been missing out there nearly as often as we've seen him throughout this year. So that has been much more encouraging. That one sailed on him, and now it's 2-2. He's had to work.
First one might have been by design. I think that one he just overthrew a fastball, left it up and away.
Torrey was telling us today in regard to Robbie Ray, every start isn't going to be pristine and perfect. And with Robbie, the numbers can be a little bit misleading. He's only given up 6 runs in his last 3 starts total. So the ERA, still highest on the club, is misleading. But he's in a jam right here, 2-2. Center field, AJ on the run. He can't get her, and it rolls to the wall. Hernandez has scored. Santana right behind. They'll stop Hoskins, and we're tied at 2. Aaron Altair, a 2-run double.
Oh, that ball did some funny things on its way out to that gap in right center. Altair picks on a slider, kind of an inside-out swing, and it's slicing away from AJ from the moment it left the bat. I think AJ thought he had a beat on it initially, but just couldn't catch up.
Well, Robbie, still some work to do. Second and third, 1 out. 2 runs are in, and Michael Franco is the hitter. He flied out to right his first time up.
Now see, that muddies the waters. If Hoskins is a guy you're going to be careful with runners on base, try to pitch around him, the guy behind him has to do some damage if you're the Phillies. And Aaron Altair, after the walk to Hoskins, comes up with a 2 RBI double.
His bat is starting to heat up after that slow start.
And we saw that at times with Goldie over the course of his career. If the guy hitting behind Goldie wasn't swinging the bat well, Goldie wasn't going to get anything good to hit.
Is that what they call protection in the lineup?
Yeah, for lack of a better term. Just stack up as many good hitters as you can. But yeah, when your best hitter doesn't have anybody hitting behind him, he's rarely going to get anything to hit.
Well, they're not, this may be an understatement, married to one lineup here in Philadelphia. Gabe Kapler, it's become something of a running joke with the media here. He'll roll out a different lineup every night. Hoskins at third, Altair at second, and one out.
I think back to those Giants teams that we played against when I was managing, and nothing against Benito Santiago or Rich Aurelia, but would you rather pitch to them or Barry?
Exactly. Some managers were so hesitant to pitch to Barry Bonds they'd walk him intentionally with the bases loaded.
Yeah, Buck Showalter did that in the initial season for the Diamondbacks, inaugural season rather. Got Brett Maine to line out to right field to end the game after a bases loaded intentional walk in a 2-run game.
Remember the Maine. Left field, Peralta. He's at the track. Hoskins at third. Here he comes. And the Phillies have a 3-2 lead. The RBI for Franco. Altair stays put at second. 2 down now for Florimon, who singled in the second. 7th bat to bat here in the Phillies' third. Robbie coming off a no decision in his start against the Giants last Wednesday. He did finish 6 innings, which is still the deepest he's gone into a game this year. He's done it twice. And again, he's had to throw a lot of pitches here tonight. Caught the corner down and in, 1-1. 30th pitch of this inning on the way from Robbie Ray. And check his swing on a breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
Supposed to swing at that one. It's one of those pitches that frustrates a pitcher and a catcher. You execute exactly what you want. Start that slider right down the middle of the plate in a 2-strike count. Hopefully get the hitter to start that bat and then have the movement down and in underneath, get that strike out and get out of this jam.
Good example there. This is a team that, as we mentioned, sees a lot of pitches. Got a fastball up, fouled it back. They make you work. 32 pitches in this inning for Robbie. He's already walked 2, 3 for the ball game. 70 pitches through 2 2/3. Seems like Robbie has pitched from the stretch all year long.
Sure does.
Breaking ball is in there, and Robbie gets his 7th strikeout, but the Phillies take a 3-2 lead. Phillies 3-2 as we start the fourth. Now time for Lowe's whole team together. The best records in the National League. The D-backs are #1. Gabe Kapler's bunch right behind.
Don't forget those Mets.
Meet the Mets. Greet the Mets. Phillies especially good at home this year. They are 9-1. Their best home start since 1964. Goldie opens up the fourth against right-hander Vince Velasquez. He stays away from a first pitch fastball that time and steals strike one. Goldie popped up his first time. On the ground is shortstop. Florimone spins and throws. One down. Mentioned that was that 64 season the last time the Phillies opened 9-1. They played at old Connie Mack Stadium back then. That was before the vet even. And of course that 64 Phillies team famous for one of the all-time great collapses under Gene Mauch that year. He just suddenly tanked.
And no, they weren't going for the #1 draft pick.
Yes, they weren't doing it on purpose like other people in other leagues. A.J. Pollock, a strikeout victim. And that sort of started a 40-year run of terrible sports luck here in this town. 40 or 50 years.
It's a long run.
But boy, they're living large right now. The Eagles, I'm told, won the Super Bowl.
I heard that.
Even though they shouldn't have. And the Phillies are doing real well. The Sixers are playing across the street. Villanova, another national championship. So this is the city of champions right now, Philadelphia, PA. Franco at third.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Even the Philadelphia Soul are, I believe, coming off back-to-back. Is Bon Jovi, does he still own that team? We don't know. Your staff on the road,
yeah,
they're looking up. Arena football, that's kind of a tough pull for the staff.
Arizona has dominated arena football.
Yeah. Well, Velasquez, since giving up the back-to-back homers to start the third, has settled down. He's retired all 5 he's faced since. And his pitch count is under control. Robbie Ray already in the 70s through 3 innings. Popped up along the right field line. Kingery coming in. It's up in that wind. And Velasquez, a 6-pitch 4th inning, handed a 3-2 lead. Back in baseball history, it's presented by Geico, the Harry Callis statue. It's our Geico legacy moment.
April 24, 2003, former Philly Chase Utley gets his first major league hit. It was a grand slam against, it was actually Aaron Cook of the Colorado Rockies.
That was at the Vet. And Utley's still playing now
Still
at Dodger.
Yeah.
How about that? That's the great Harry Callis statue out there behind the left field foul pole at Citizens Bank Park. Jorge Alfaro, the Phillies catcher, leads off the fourth against Robbie Ray. Robbie has walked 3. He struck out 7. Boy, what a difference. Robbie was handed a 2-0 lead, but labored through a long third inning, gave up 3 runs. So Velasquez gets the 3-2 lead. He has a 6-pitch inning. 1, 2, 3. That is the very definition of a shutdown inning.
Shutdown inning.
Swing the momentum back in your favor, then hold it.
Yeah, a lot of the problems that Velasquez has had this year, when he's had problems, usually it comes the first time through the opposing order. Guys jumping on that fastball before he has a chance to settle in, but that was not the case today. I mean, he did give up the back-to-back homers, but his fastball has been electric so far.
He's not walked a batter. He's got 5 strikeouts. Vince Velasquez. He's on deck, in fact. 2-1 on Alfaro. Sixers game underway against the Miami Heat right across the parking lot here. It's a unique sort of stadium situation in this city. All the stadiums are in one giant parking lot, all next to each other, just outside downtown.
Begs the question, was the parking lot here first and they put the stadiums here, or did the stadiums come before the parking lots?
Well, there had to have been some guy who said, you know what, we'll build a giant parking lot, and if we can convince somebody to put stuff in it, we'll make a fortune. And apparently it worked out.
Yep.
I remember when you'll like this, old JFK Stadium was here. I went to that for Live Aid back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I was there for all 18 hours. That was not fun.
Well, I have a feeling you just didn't approach it with the right preparation.
Yeah, exactly right. Of course, the Vet used to be here.
Yeah.
JFK Stadium really used to always have the Army-Navy game back in the day, I think. 2-2 on Alfaro. Don't forget the old Spectrum was here too. Called strike 3, a fastball in. That's where Zinkoff used to have the mic. He was a legend. Remember, it was Dave Zinkoff, right? At Sixers games?
PA announcer?
Yeah, the PA announcer.
Let's hear it.
No, I can't. Aaron, you know who does a tremendous Zinkoff imitation? Aaron Boone.
Really?
Yeah, it's killer.
Ah.
Head coach Billy Cunningham, assisted by Matty Gukas. Yeah, you don't. Oh, yeah, you used to come on the PA and go, if you're thinking about smoking, don't.
Just cut to the chase.
Yeah, so many legendary guys, legendary characters like that over the years in this city. 0-2 on Velasquez. Dan Baker does the PA, of course. Was the PA guy forever. He's always down on the field before every game. He does his show. Most PA guys, you know, they do their thing from the booth. He goes down on the field. He's like the host of the game.
Yeah, right behind home plate, has the mic in hand for the last half hour or so before the game starts, introducing the various celebrities and special groups that are here at the ballpark.
Yeah, he's the voice of Phillies baseball over the PA. Another strikeout for Robbie Ray. That's number 9. He's punched out 3 in a row. And Merrill Reese did Eagles radio for 40 years. Still does. Legends in Philadelphia. Cesar Hernandez has singled, walked, scored a run. The second baseman, the leadoff man. Trying to bunt his way on. He'll do that. He's got 3 bunt base hits this year, Cesar Hernandez. .83 pitches with 2 outs in the 4th. Another bunt. This one trickles foul.
My first game of a series. That's one of the things that we were adamant about our corner infielders and catchers, and even alerting the pitchers to the baselines. What will happen if the ball's bunted down the line? Will it roll true? Is it going to go foul? Will it stay fair? Yeah, the infield grass is very close to the foul line here, and if the ball rolls off of the infield grass, it should have enough momentum to carry it across that foul line.
That's interesting. The infield grass is close to the foul line here. So it can vary. Or it's not supposed to.
I don't know. I'm not sure what the rule is. I've seen a number of ballparks like this where the infield grass is very close to the foul line, and then you have quite a bit of room in foul territory before you get to the foul territory grass. Other places, my recollection is the foul line was right down the middle of the dirt.
Yeah.
Let's keep an eye out for that. But that's one of the easier things to find out when you go to a new ballpark. You just take a bucket of balls and stand at home plate and roll them down the third base line, roll them down the first base line, and figure out what it's going to do.
Remember Matt Williams, when he was coaching here, would bang balls off the walls in the corners just to see which direction they would carry them.
Like a lot of ballparks, there's a lot of different surfaces on the outfield wall here. In left field, it's all padded. But in right field, you've got the out-of-town scoreboard. There's some angles. There's some areas where if the ball hits, it might ricochet one way or another way. Pretty fair from the left field line over to that 409 mark, but the rest of the ballpark, it's tricky when that ball hits a wall.
Wind is really gusting across the outfield from right to left. Robbie almost at 90 pitches here, trying to get out of the 4th. Downtown Philly in the background. On a cool night here, rain expected later. Fastball right by him. Robbie Ray strikes out the side in the 4th. He's punched out 10 through 4, but trails at 3-2. D-backs trail the Phillies 3-2. D-backs will host the Dodgers at home for the second time this year, starting next week, fans. And then the World Series champs are in town, Houston Astros. 2 big series at Chase Field coming up next week. So get your tickets right now at dbacks.com. Vince Velasquez with a 3-2 lead. He set down 6 in a row. And Ahmed skies one foul, first base side. Santana runs out of room. Nick struck out his first time up. Through the first 4 innings of this baseball game, the 2 starting pitchers have combined for 15 strikeouts. Velasquez got the side in the second. Robbie Ray struck out the side in the 4th. He also had 3 strikeouts in the first after a leadoff single. And that's been a big reason why that Velasquez fastball. It's 0-2. Robbie Ray is 15th career double-digit strikeout game tonight. He has walked 3 and struck out 10.
Velasquez is one of those pitchers, doesn't really shake his head no when the catcher hangs a sign. He just keeps staring in at Alfaro. There's been a number of pitches already where Alfaro's hung down a 1 and stood there, and then he put down a 3, and Velasquez started, and he put down a 1 and a 3 again real quick. That time Velasquez just had to step off the mound. How about just shaking your head no a little bit?
They're doing it again right there.
I mean, these 2 have worked together plenty. I'm sure they know each other's tendencies and habits and the timing of deliveries, but well, I know as a catcher, when you see that pitcher start his delivery and you're not sure, is he going to throw the 3 or the 1? I'm not sure. I put the 3 down. He didn't shake his head, so I put a 1 down, and then he started, but did he really want to throw the 3? Oh, I mean, it can be confusing as heck.
Just wait for him to put the glove up there. 98 off the plate down and away, and it's 2-2. Alex Avila homered in the 3rd. He'll be next. Avila and Dyson back-to-back home runs in that 3rd inning. The only D-backs hit so far. This with a fastball low, and it's full 3-2.
Some of his best velocities of the game here to Nick Ahmed in this 5th inning. He's 97-98 in this inning after cruising along at 95-96.
Nope. Yep. All right.
All right then.
He didn't go, says Ed Hickox. And Velasquez walks his first batter tonight. Ahmed to start the 5th. Avila's homer in the 3rd, upper deck here, right off the facing, his 2nd of the year. Turned on a fastball. I would think, Bob, you mentioned he was sitting on a fastball. That would be the way to go against this guy.
I would think so. Until he shows you he's going to use his secondary pitches, I'd just sell out and sit on fastball. He's got a good one tonight, no question about it. But if that's what you're looking for and you're geared for it, Alex showed you what you can do.
Alfaro sets up down and away. Phillies have the shift on. Got the corner up and away at 96. This was Avila to start the 3rd.
Oh, man.
Off the facing of that 2nd deck out there in right field. Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game. Florimon, the shortstop on the first base side, is second. Franco all by himself, standing in the shortstop spot. The whole left side of the infield is wide open for Avila.
And no change in the defense in the outfield. We talked about it in Alex's first at bat of the ball game. The infield plays him to pull. The outfield shades him around the other way to the point they give him a lot of room down that right field line.
Missed with a breaking ball, 1-1. Here's a look at the defense here at Citizens Bank Park. Dave McKay coaching at first. The pitch was up, but Gabe Morales says strike two. A lot of rain in the forecast for, well, not too far from now. We're in the 5th inning. It's supposed to rain about 9 o'clock or so tonight and rain straight through until game time tomorrow. And after that we should be fine. Weather on Thursday is supposed to be okay, but the next 24 hours or so it's going to be soggy. Alfaro keeps looking in the dugout. Rick Krantz is the pitching coach. He's got a very convoluted colored chart on his wrist, Jorge Alfaro. Avila knocks it by Hernandez into right. Alex is 2 for 2. And a walk and a single start the Diamondbacks' 5th.
Good to see Alex getting it going with the stick a little bit. That long home run in his first at bat, and then a scalded single through that shifted right side for a base hit.
Gerard Dyson crushed his first of the year, his first time up in the 3rd. He and Avila went back to back. 2 on and no outs. This was Gerard Dyson after Avila had homered.
Another no doubter, almost hit his own face on the scoreboard out there in right field.
Missed away with a breaking ball. Pitcher spot is up next. Robbie Ray at 89 pitches right now is out there in the undecked circle, ready to hit for himself.
Now, no activity in the Diamondbacks bullpen, so you have to believe that Robbie will take the at bat.
Another breaking ball, and it's 1-1.
Seeing a lot more of his secondary pitches here in this 5th inning after pretty much living with that fastball through the first 4 innings.
He's got a curveball and a slider. Likes to throw the slider to right-hand hitters, the curveball to lefties. Dyson trying to bunt his way on, but fouls it back, and it's 1-2.
The Phillies weren't sure what to do defensively. Franco at 3rd and Santana over at 1st. On the first delivery to Gerard Dyson, we're both in on the grass on the corners, but as this at bat has gone on, they backed off a step, back off another step. Dyson apparently saw that and decided it was time to try to dump a bunt.
Well, Velasquez so far right in line with the way the Phillies rotation has pitched all year. Philly starters have allowed 3 runs or fewer in each of their last dozen games. That's the longest such stretch for Philly starters since 2011. And over the last 12 games, Philadelphia starting pitchers have an ERA of 2.38. They have been really good. Ahmed at 2nd and Avila at 1st. Nobody out. 2-2 on Dyson with the pitcher Robbie Ray on deck. This is tapped foul to first. You go 12 games with your starting pitchers having a 2.38 ERA, you're going to win some games. And that's what the Phillies have done. They are red hot lately. Winners of 13 of 16. 9-1 at home this year. A win tonight would make the Phillies 10-1 at home for the first time in history. Velasquez has lost a few breaking balls to left-handers lately, and he's worked at full 3-2. He walked Ahmed, Avila single, and now it's full on Dyson. That one gets to the backstop on ball 4, and they're loaded for the pitcher Robbie Ray. Interesting call here to let Robbie hit. 5th inning.
Not surprising though. We've seen Torrey do this many times. He wants to stretch that starter out. Knows we have a tough road trip. This is just game 1 of the long road, or not long trip, but a tough trip, no doubt. Wants to get as much out of Robbie tonight as he possibly can, and Robbie has swung the bat well in the past, so letting him take his hacks here with the bases loaded, down by a run.
Keep in mind the weather that's expected is bearing down on us, so it would be nice to have a lead here in the 5th inning. All kinds of green globs headed our way on the old Doppler. Nationwide Vision Centers eye on the game. Ahmed the runner at 3rd. Avila at 2nd and Dyson at 1st.
Now, a strikeout is not the worst thing in the world that could happen right here. A triple play is.
Double play would be 2nd on that list. Velasquez now with 70 pitches, 47 strikes. He's walked 2. He struck out 5. Both walks in this inning.
Right. Fallen behind and lost a couple of hitters this inning with his inability to throw any kind of a breaking ball in the strike zone.
Yeah, he's not coming close with his slider or his curveball out there. Robbie waves at a fastball up. 6 strikeouts for Velasquez, 1 down in the 5th, and here comes David Peralta. Peralta has struck out twice. He's 0 for 2. Now David, with as frequently as he hits balls on the ground, is a good double play candidate for Velasquez right here.
Find a hole.
David has already swung and missed at 5 pitches tonight. Lays off a first pitch breaking ball, and it's 1-0.
Now, certainly Dave Maggott and Tim Laker, the 2 hitting coaches for the Diamondbacks over in that 3rd base dugout, are alerting the players as they go up the on-deck circle. He has not been able to throw that breaking ball for a strike.
Well, here comes Rick Kranitz. He's thinking the same thing. Velasquez in a bases loaded jam.
Occasionally this meeting will be, don't forget number 1. You're out there trying to trick guys. When you blew them away the first time through the order, just rearing back and throwing your best fastball.
Yeah, the discussion here seems to be much more with Alfaro than it does Velasquez. The bullpen will start to get hot. Victor Arano, the right-hander. Oh, he's been really good. 14 2/3 scoreless innings.
Wicked numbers with runners in scoring position for David. 7 for 12 with 6 driven in, a couple of doubles.
Big spot here, bases loaded, 1 out with rain on the way. Looks like it's just starting. That's out of play. It's just starting to drizzle right now. And it is supposed to rain without stop for the next 24 hours or so. And it's going to get worse as we go on. Boy, I tell you what, those guys, they know what they're doing, because Torrey told us that he had been told his latest up-to-the-date AccuWeather forecast was that it was going to start raining right about 9 o'clock. It's 8:52 right now, and it just started. That's almost as good as the Gubner.
Well, Gubner sets the bar very high.
The Tom Skilling of the National League West. One and two. That's a fair ball down the right field line. Ahmed scores. Avila right behind. They stop Dyson at third. And David Peralta comes through with a big 2-run double, and it's 4-3 D-backs. Just able to keep that fair by Santana at first.
Boy, under the conditions, that's the biggest hit of the year,
isn't it?
The rain just started. Diamondbacks need to find a way to tie it or take the lead, and David Peralta shoots one just inside the first baseline to drive home 2 and give the D-backs a 1-run lead.
On a 1-2 pitch. A big hit in this ball game, given the weather circumstances. A chance for Marte now. Second and third, 1 out, and 2 runs in. Cattell has grounded out, flied out, 0 for 2. Infield in on the grass for the Phillies. Well, you get a base hit here, tack on 2 more. Going to be feeling pretty good about things.
When the Phillies, they've played some exaggerated shifts already, but they really expect Cattell Marte to hit that ball to the opposite field in the outfield. Altair is a dozen steps or more over into the gap in left center. Hoskins cheating toward the line in left field a little bit, leaving Scott Kingery to cover a lot of ground out there in right center and right field.
Rain getting harder, a fastball to strike, and it's 2-1.
Now the wind has died down a little bit, but the rain and that wind, it has really got to feel cold down there at field level. Feels cold up here, and we're not in the rain or the wind.
Having flashbacks to St. Louis. Winter out here has hung around an extra month. Really coming down now. 2-2. Well, they're fully prepared for this. They knew it was coming. And if you go in the clubhouse, there's actually a weather chart that gives you a breakdown hour by hour of what they're expecting. And certainly everybody in the ballpark is on board with that in terms of trying to keep the field dry and getting ready for this stuff. But it is pouring right now. Still 2-2. Second and third, one out. Marte slaps another one foul. So in terms of anticipating this type of weather, Bob, I'm sure that the umpires are going to do whatever they got to do to finish 5 innings.
Yeah, once you start it, yeah, you have to complete 5 innings for it to be a complete game if it's called off because of weather conditions. So even though the Diamondbacks took a lead here in the top half of the 5th, the Phillies have to hit in the bottom of the 5th before this could be declared a complete game.
Full count, 3-2. Ninth pitch of the at-bat to Ketel Marte. And we'll keep going. There you go. It's worth sitting out in the rain for that right there. Popped him up. Shallow left. Hoskins coming in. Dyson will bluff and hold. 2 outs.
It's not deep enough even for somebody with the speed of Gerard Dyson to think about challenging the arm of Rhys Hoskins. He was only a few steps out onto the outfield grass by the time he made the play.
Gabe Kapler is going to his bullpen as Goldie comes up. Well, the skies have opened up. The D-backs had a 2-0 lead, lost it. They've come back to lead 4-3, back from Philadelphia right after this. Fifth inning. So Gabe Kapler slows things down a bit with the rain coming down and goes to his bullpen. This is Victor Arano, the right-hander, who has been sensational. 10 1/3 innings. The 2 walks were both intentional, those against 11 strikeouts. And it is absolutely torrential right now as Goldie steps in. Second and third, 2 outs. And 2 runs in. Goldie so far 0 for 2.
Now, Rano has retired each of the first 25 batters he faced this season. And you go back to last season, 32 consecutive. Back to the end of last season into this year. Slider is his weapon. He'll throw it over half the time.
He's only given up one hit all year. That was Sunday in the walk-off win against the Pirates as they swept a 4-game series. 0-2. Dyson is the runner at third. Peralta, who had the critical 2-run double in this inning, is at second. Need to complete 5 innings to make it an official game. Goldie reaches out and pokes it foul down the right field line.
You see players trying to wipe the moisture off the bat. You get the rain dripping off the bill of the cap while you're looking out toward the pitcher. Good thing they picked up their dry cleaning today.
It's going to be wet cleaning after this. 1-2. Fastball just off the plate. He's able to check his swing, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Goldie's hit safely in 10 of his last 12 games. Pollock on deck. Goldie's got 10 extra base hits in his last 12 games. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's rung up on a breaking ball that was off the plate. Gabe Morales says strike 3. They strand 2 but get 2 and take a 4-3 lead. He's the first in the majors this year to 10 home runs, going the other way in Houston. The Angels and the Astros tonight. Nice and dry there. It is pouring rain here, although actually it's let up just a bit for a moment. Carlos Santana leads off the home half of the 5th against Robbie Ray, who's now got a 4-3 lead. Santana has struck out, singled, he scored a run. Santana leading the league in pine tar, which probably comes in handy in a night like this. Yeah. He's got it all over him. You can see on that back shoulder from the bat right there.
A lot of people probably forget or don't even know that Carlos Santana was a catcher initially. Played 330 games behind the plate before a knee injury kind of pushed him away from the position down to first base.
They tried him briefly at third after they figured out in Cleveland, all right, he hits way too many home runs to catch. We need to move him. Third didn't work. He wound up at first. But yeah, you go back as recently as 2012, he caught 100 games for the Indians. And we did see Santana play some right field, actually against us during some interleague games last year. Played a few games in right. Full count, 3-2. I think this place would have to be underwater before the umpires would stop the game before this inning ended. Or at least this half inning. This is out to left center field. A.J. Pollock. 1 out. That's 6 in a row retired by Robbie Ray. Here's Scott Kingery.
I mean, with the forecast what it is, and we've been told that once it starts, it's not going to stop for a couple of days. I wonder if Torrey had any thoughts about bringing Archie in here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Save the game in the bottom of the 5th. Just in case the weather does become more of a factor than it already is.
Fernando Salas starting to get loose with Robbie Ray already at 95 pitches. Well, you had floated the idea, and Torrey asked you actually if you'd ever done this. When you think it's going to rain, do you maybe start a reliever, hope the rain comes in, delay the game, then come back with your scheduled starter? That's kind of next level thinking.
Really tough on the starter, however. A guy that's, you know, and we know Robbie Ray as well as all the Diamondback starters. Probably every starter in the major leagues, they have a very strict routine they follow on days they start. I can imagine that conversation trying to tell Robbie, hey, listen, we're not going to start you, we're going to save you.
Well, it worked out for you one time accidentally with Randy Johnson.
Yeah. And we didn't save anything.
Right. They have, of course, T.J. McFarland, who, if there's a long delay, too long for Robbie to go back out there, and they resume the game, you could send T.J. McFarland out there, and that's the plan if there's a long delay. T.J. can give you some life back there. Salas warming up for the moment, 0-2 on Kingery. Fights off a fastball on the hands.
Yeah, Torrey also told us that with Robbie being a left-hander starting this game, it puts Crawford, Williams, and Herrera on the bench. So he said he, if possible, would like to follow Robbie with another left-hander. Now, if we're at the top of the order, that might be a different story. You know, some of the guys that Gabe Kapler will not pinch hit for, but the guys at the bottom of the order, there's some dangerous left-handed bats available on that Phillies bench, and he wants to keep them there.
So you'd stay away from a right-hand pitcher. Kingery waves at that one, and Robbie has his 11th strikeout.
Buries that slider in the dirt. You're going to miss in your favor. Don't leave it up over the heart of the plate where it might get whacked.
Here's Rhys Hoskins, who has struck out, walked, and scored a run. Leading the major leagues in on-base percentage. That OPS well over 1,000. And he's also got big power. He's homered in 2 of his last 4 games. Phillies were home all weekend long. They swept 4 from Pittsburgh. And Robbie's got to be careful here. This is a guy that can turn on a fastball. So you can't really just blow one by him.
That's what he's going to try to do.
Inside, 1-1.
Once again, if you're going to miss in your favor. Don't leave that 94-mile-an-hour heater on the inner third of the plate. Either hit the corner or miss inside.
Hoskins leading the majors with a .483 on base percentage. He's walked nearly as often as he struck out this year. Good location with a breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Got it in just far enough.
One of the louder grunts we've heard from Robbie tonight on that 95-mile-an-hour heater, maybe just emptying the tank. He probably realizes that this is going to be the end of his day.
Well, Hoskins is a very good two-strike hitter. 22 career home runs, 13 have come with 2 strikes. He's not afraid up there. And a breaking ball and fouled it back. They have worked with Hoskins, trying to psych himself out and telling him, look, go up there and just forget the count. Don't worry, 2-0, 0-2, same thing. So in his head, as Salas goes over the plan with Mike Fetters out there, it doesn't matter. 2-2, 0-2, 2-0. Just forget the count. And he's had to really be stubborn with that kind of mentality, but it's worked out. He's a .295 hitter this year with 2 strikes.
You see Robbie out there doing some manicuring on the mound, cleared out some of the loose dirt in the landing hole, banging his cleats on the rubber, trying to get the mud out. Those are signs that umpires look for when guys are starting to have trouble with their footing.
Fastball well in. Hoskins has worked at full 3-2. Yeah, it's starting to get messy out there.
Yeah, you can imagine it gets clogged in your cleats. You don't really have the kind of traction that you usually do. The biggest danger is that landing foot not coming down solidly. If that front foot slips, that's when hitters are in danger.
Broken bat, flare, Marte can't run it down. And Hoskins has a 2-out bloop single. Here comes Torey Lovello. Aaron Altair will be the hitter. Salas is ready in the bullpen. And he'll go get the right-hander. We'll take a break from Philly. D-backs lead at 4-3. The top half of the 5th inning. And now in the home half, Robbie Ray gives way to the right-hander Fernando Salas.
That's the only problem with striking out a lot of guys, is usually it takes a lot of pitches to do it, and unfortunately Robbie Ray out of the game early tonight.
Well, trying to get through this 5th inning with the rain already coming down and more on the way. Trying to make it official. Aaron Altair has walked and hit a 2-run double. He'll be the batter with Rhys Hoskins at first and 2 outs. Aaron Altair out of Agua Fria High School in Avondale. D-backs were his team growing up. He was a big Steve Finley fan as a kid.
So was I.
And for good reason. Altair, a 9th round pick by the Phillies back in '09 out of high school in Avondale. Hoskins down there can run a little bit. He's got 3 stolen bases. Boy, Salas just pounds that strike zone with everything he's got. He has been tremendously consistent since the first day of spring training. Fernando Salas. One ball and 2 strikes on Aaron Altair. That's out of play.
You think back to Salas coming into spring training as a minor league invite. You've got to earn it. You've got to earn your way onto the team. He has a track record that you can put some credence in that, but basically he had to come to Salt River Fields every day with the idea he was going to do something to win a job, and here he is.
And he was one of 7 or 8 veteran relief arms they brought in to compete for 1 or 2 spots. A.J. Pollock backing up in center, and he's got it in the raindrops. And we are through 5 in Philly. The D-backs hold a 4-3 lead. Play on, McDuff. 6th inning now. Fans watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. It includes MLB at Bat Premium. That lets you watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply, so visit MLB.tv for all the details. Trying to stay dry. Pouring rain in Philadelphia. A.J. Pollock leads off the 6th. A.J. so far has struck out, grounded out, 0 for 2. Victor Arano, the right-hander, back out there for his 2nd inning of work. A.J. knocks one into center, a leadoff single. He's now hit safely in 5 straight. Just the 2nd hit given up all season by Victor Arano.
Left a slider up in the middle of the plate that time for A.J.
Daniel Descalso in there at 3rd tonight, 0 for 2. D-backs off to a 15-6 start, the best record in the National League. And opening up a 6-game road trip through Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. D-backs have won their last 7 games at Citizens Bank Park. That's a club record. They lead this one in the rain, 4-3. 3-0. Nick Ahmed will be next. He has struck out and walked. Arano not used to any traffic on the bases at all. Fastball caught part of the strike zone there. Batter 7 for 71 against Arano to start his career. He has been very impressive. Fastball misses. A single and a walk open up the D-back sixth. Nick walked and scored his last time up.
Long look down at Tony Parashchiga, giving the signs at third base. Not sure if the conditions here are going to change Torrey's mind. Rarely will you see him put down a sac bunt.
Here comes Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach.
At this part in the batting order.
Tommy Hunter, the right-hander, starts to get loose.
Once again, talking about Tony Parashchiga, the third base coach, because of the rain, that outfield grass has to be wet right now. I mean, very wet. It's been raining pretty hard for quite a while now. Any base hit that rolls for any amount of time on that grass in the outfield, you might be more aggressive in sending that runner from second base on home. Tough to get a grip on that ball if you're an outfielder charging, trying to unload quickly to home plate.
A.J. Pollock at second, Daniel Descalso at first, and nobody out here in the sixth. Ahmed homered Sunday at Chase Field against the Padres. There's strike one. Yes, he went, says Ed Hickox. Tommy Hunter continues to get loose. One and two. Alfaro hangs on. Rano gets the strikeout. That's his second one down.
Gabe Morales, the home plate umpire, was indicating that even as Nick checked his swing, that ball just got a piece of his bat. He indicated a foul tip, strike three.
Alex Avila, the bat has come alive. A long home run in the third off the facing of the second deck. He singled and scored in the fifth.
Once again, that same outfield shift we've seen for every at bat Alex has had in this game, shading him way around to left field, left center, leaving Kingery all alone, cover a lot of ground. If you're going to play this kind of defense, that's probably where you should pitch Alex Avila. If you're going to play him to hit the ball the opposite way, you should probably pitch him away.
That shift on the infield against Alex with runners at first and second not nearly as drastic as it was in his first two at bats. Two balls and one strike of the D-backs catcher.
Really, the only shift is the shortstop, Florimone, playing up the middle of the field, which is keeping A.J. Pollock from getting enough of a walking lead to try to steal third. We know A.J. loves to steal third base.
Toronto having trouble throwing strikes. 3-1 now. Dyson, the on deck hitter. He's homered and walked. Another base hit. A.J. Pollock being waved home. Descalso in at third. Alex Avila 3 for 3, and it's 5-3 D-backs.
Well, you've heard me say it many times over the years, partner. Sometimes all it takes is squaring up one ball, and it all comes back to you. He certainly squared up that home run back in the third inning and has hit the ball hard his next two at bats in the game.
A homer, 2 singles, 2 RBIs, and you know what that means.
Tacos. Love tacos.
Gabe Kapler has Tommy Hunter ready in the bullpen. The D-backs in the 6th inning here have taken a 5-3 lead back from Citizens Bank Park after this. D-back dugout, it's 5-3 Diamondbacks in the top of the 6th inning. And the new pitcher for the Phillies is the right-hander Tommy Hunter. He got a 2-year, $18 million contract. But he injured himself near the end of spring training with a right hamstring strain. Just came off the DL the other day, and he makes his 2nd appearance of the year.
Cutter, cutter, cutter. It also throws a sinking fastball. Will mix in an occasional curve, but he lives and dies with that cut fastball.
Alex Avila's 3rd hit tonight has made it 5-3 D-backs. Descalso's at 3rd. Avila's at 1st. 1 out. And the batter is Gerard Dyson, who was homered and walked tonight. Avila and Dyson back-to-back homers off Vince Velasquez in the 3rd. D-backs had a 2-0 lead. Phillies got 3 runs against Robbie Ray in the home half. Diamondbacks with 2 in the 5th, and now 1 more here in the 6th. Up the middle, Florimone has it, steps on 2nd for 1, and they're able to turn the double play. But the D-backs tack on another run. They lead the Phillies 5-3. The D-backs lead the Phillies 5-3. Join the D-backs Cinco de Mayo Fiesta next Saturday before the D-backs of the Astros 5 o'clock game. Enjoy a free fiesta, live music, a salsa tasting and beer margarita garden, the whole thing going on there. Plus giveaway that night the State 48 Sugar Skull t-shirt. Get your D-backs Cinco de Mayo tickets at dbacks.com/Cinco.
That's pretty cool, that Sugar Skull t-shirt.
That is one of the hot items this year. Fernando Salas back out there. Maikel Franco, the Phillies' third baseman, leads off the bottom of the sixth. Franco has flied out twice, once for an RBI.
Very light mist that continues to fall here. Not nearly as hard as it was earlier in the ball game, but moisture nonetheless.
Maybe we have a window. Just in with a fastball.
Looking on the weather radar, there was a small area that looked like it was going to stop raining for about 10 or 15 minutes, and it's going to come right back.
Up the middle and into center. Franco has a leadoff single. Well, they're playing baseball in Colorado. I think they were worried about snow. It was snowing there in Denver earlier today. Padres and Rockies no score in the first. Dodgers host the Marlins later tonight. Kenta Maeda against Dylan Peters. Giants at home against Washington. Tanner Roark versus Ty Block. Andrew Chafin ready in the bullpen.
Mike Fetter's waving the hat, the universal sign for he's ready to go.
That is the upper tier bullpen here at Citizens Bank Park. Pedro Florimon, the shortstop, has singled and struck out.
Yeah, initially the bullpens were flip-flopped. The visiting team was right behind the outfield fence, and the Phillies were up on the mezzanine level there, but they figured out why not take advantage of those Philly fans right there above Andrew Chafin warming up.
What are you implying?
They're just trying to help.
Yeah, they can look down right on top of the D-backs relievers. I'm sure they're very well behaved.
You're going to throw that when you get into the game? Yeah, they're very helpful.
Yeah, when you come in from the bullpen, if you're the visitor here, you got to go down the stairs like in a submarine or something just to get out on the field.
Been out in that bullpen, especially the visitors, the one up top, and if you sit from the way we view it to the far right side, you can't see half the field. That's why everybody kind of wedges themselves down on the far left side so they can see what's going on out there. The farther to the right you sit, the less you see.
There's a pop-up shallow left center. Pollock coming in front of Peralta. Yeah, you can see the Phillies bullpen is sheltered, as it were, from the fans down there on the lower level. And they're busy down there as well. Axel Rios, the right-hander. The catcher Jorge Alfaro struck out twice against Robbie Ray. Alfaro's one of those guys that's been a prospect for about a decade. Signed.
Perennial prospect.
Yeah, well, he's still only 24, so but boy, when he was coming up in the Ranger system, he was going to be the next Pudge Rodriguez. He's got a tremendous throwing arm, but the rest of it, the defense and the bat, still lagging a bit. that big minor league season for Alfaro never really materialized, and he was sent to Philadelphia, part of the package in a Cole Hamels deal at the deadline in 2015. Pitcher's spot is up next for the Phillies, and Odubel Herrera, one of those left-hand bats that Torey Lovullo wanted to keep on the bench.
That's
He's
why
in the on-deck circle.
That's why Andrew Chafin's up in the bullpen. So the guys you really worry about off that Phillies bench tonight are all left-handed hitters.
So you want some lefty answers ready from the pitching side of things. But Salas has got to dispatch Alfaro here. He's behind 2-1. The sheriff, Andrew Chafin. We've got to get the marketing department on that. You can see Chafin with that mustache and a cowboy hat, sitting with his feet up on the fence post, kind of like Henry Fonda in My Darling Clementine.
He's the straw out the corner of his mouth.
Got me a new job, marshaling. 2-2. I mean, he's right out of Central Casting with that look.
And it's not something he fights. He relishes it.
Absolutely. Despite all the grief he gets from Archie Bradley about being a fake country. You know, he's got a big spread in Ohio. He's got tractors and drones and all kinds of stuff. And he hears about it. Salas gets Alfaro to strike out for the third time tonight. 2 down, and we'll see how Torey wants to play this.
Good slide.
So Herrera is announced as the hitter, and sure enough, here comes the skipper to go get his lefty. We'll take a break from Philly. Back after this. Chafin brought on to face the left-hand pinch hitter Odubel Herrera here with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Herrera, 190 hitter this season against left-handed pitching, 379 against righties. So Andrew Chafin in the ball game to continue what he's done in the early going this season, stranding inherited runners.
Well, he's up against a pretty good hitter right here in Odubel Herrera, who's riding a 7-game hitting streak. He's hit safely in 11 of his last 12 and steps in at .329 on the year.
Odubel Herrera is one of those hitters that he's a hitter equivalent of Joey Lucchesi, the pitcher from the San Diego Padres. Everything he does you would never teach a kid to do, but it all works for him.
Michael Franco, a leadoff single. He's at first with 2 outs. Herrera 4 for 21 against left-hand pitching this year. He hit .288 versus lefties last season. And he takes one right in the leg.
I don't think that's what Torrey had in mind when he brought Andrew Chafin in to face the left-handed hitting Herrera. Just a fastball that chased him out of there. Caught him on the right hip.
Well, Herrera has now reached base in a career-high 24 straight games dating back to last September. 2 on and 2 out. The leadoff man, the switch hitter, the second baseman Cesar Hernandez, who has single, walked, and scored a run tonight, 1 for 2. Keep in mind, Hernandez always looking to bunt his way on for a base hit if he can. Descalso is back of the bag at third. Hernandez only a handful of at-bats from the right side of the plate this year. Last year about .280 as a right-hand batter. He did not go, says Ed Hickox. 2 balls and 1 strike on Cesar Hernandez, the leadoff man. Lay it on a fastball, 2-2.
Right off the end of the bat. Might have broken part of that cupped end of the bat as he cued that one over there into his own dugout.
Yoshi Hirano had his first cheesesteak here yesterday with Todd Walsh. Starting to get loose in the bullpen. Two and 2. Hernandez is another guy who gets on base. He's about .370 on base percentage the last 2 years. Santana, always a dangerous hitter on deck. Ronco at second, Herrera at first. 2 outs, 3 balls, 2 strikes. There go the runners. This is lifted in the air along the right field line. Dyson is out there near the seats. That's a foul ball. He disappeared behind the stands there. Might have overran it just a bit.
I think so. We kind of lost sight of him there as he got into that right field corner, but the speed with which he was going into that corner, I think he might have overran that one just a tad. Had to jump back and try to make a catch. Fortunately, a foul ball.
Just maybe off the tip of the glove. So a second chance for Hernandez. That would have ended the inning. Chafin's got to pick up his right fielder here. 3-2. Runners on the move. Ground ball through the hole. Here comes Franco, and it's 5-4.
Well, nobody feels worse than Gerard Dyson for what's just happened, but in his defense, he had a long run, and there's just not a lot of room between that side wall and the foul line. He figured, I better get to the wall. Looks like that one's going up into the stands, and then that wind that's been blowing across from right to left all night long pushed it back over his head, and he wasn't able to make the play.
Carlos Santana singled and scored in the third. He's 1 for 3. That's the thing, if you're an outfielder running toward either corner here, you're going full speed toward that line. Once you get to that line, you have maybe one step, and then it's splat right into the wall.
Maybe one step.
There is no foul ground in the corners. Chafin is behind here. 2 balls and no strikes. He's got the really dangerous guys coming up behind Santana, Kingery, Hoskins.
I think this is his last hitter either way. Either he gets Santana and gets the D-backs out of this inning, or something bad happens and we'll see Hirano facing all those right-handers.
2-0. Look out. The bat goes sailing past the screen. Dusty Wathan will go retrieve it, the third base coach. Still raining pretty hard here.
Big stride, big swing from Santana. He uses that bat with one of those oversized knobs on it. You can see how it's kind of flared there at the end. Yeah, that might help.
Santana is a switch hitter. Historically, much of his power comes batting lefty. He did hit 9 home runs from the right side last year with Cleveland. And he's ahead of the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Two on, 2 outs, a run is home. Missed a fastball, and it's 2-2. Struck him out. Chafin strands 2. The Phillies get 1. And after 6, the D-backs have a 5-4 lead. Our Gila River game summary. Alex Avila, Gerard Dyson, back-to-back homers in the third. D-backs had the early lead, but the Phillies answered against Robbie Ray with 3 in the home half. D-backs regained the lead in the 5th inning. 2-run double by David Peralta. Phillies have gotten a little close here. Avila added an RBI single in the 6th inning, so it's a 1-run lead as Yaxel Rios, the right-hander, is on for the Phillies, his 10th appearance of the year. This is a really, really good bullpen. They got some guys that can chuck it.
Yeah, maybe not household names or people you're used to coming out of that Phillies bullpen, but some live arms.
Pitcher spot leads it off. Here's Christian Walker. Christian 1 for 7 with an RBI double on the year, all as a pinch hitter. And the double that broke up the Tyson Ross no-hitter on Friday night against the Padres.
You get the feeling that Torrey may look for a spot on this road trip to get Christian Walker a start somewhere on the field where he could get 4 or 5 at bats in a ball game. This is one of the toughest jobs in the game, coming off the bench, being the #1 right-handed pinch hitter off the bench and just not getting enough at bats to stay sharp. You swing right there.
Well, when we come back from this road trip, 3 in Philly, 3 in DC, right away a game Monday, 4 against the Dodgers and 3 against the World Series champion Astros. So there's a tough stretch here after the 6 on the road. We're almost to the end of April. We haven't had the Goldie off day yet. So speculating maybe at some point on this road trip, you're right. Get Goldie a day before we finish up in DC and have to play those games against Houston and LA.
Well, we know LA has a boatload of left-handed starting pitching, but Goldie wants those at bats. All part of a manager's gig. Try to figure out how to keep everybody on the bench sharp and make sure your regulars get enough rest.
And he's been committed to that since he got here, Torey Lovullo. No matter who the player is, they get extra days here and there over the course of a long season, and that's why they feel they were so strong last year, late August and early September. Peralta, a big 2-run double his last time up. He's on deck. Good at bat by Christian Walker, a leadoff walk.
That's a really good at bat for all the reasons I just mentioned. The guy hasn't had regular playing time, hasn't had regular at bats, doesn't see live game pitching every day, but goes up there and works a walk to lead off 7th inning.
Here is Peralta. D-backs at a critical spot in the ball game, trailing 3-2. The rain had just started in the 5th, and you're thinking about, okay, we got to get through 5. Peralta comes up, 2-run double to give them the lead, and it's rained ever since. Oh, what a play by Florimon. They get 1 and 2. Pedro Florimon in there at shortstop tonight. A spectacular double play.
A nice stop to begin with. That ball was hit like a bullet. Florimon got to it. The backhanded toss onto second base, and Hernandez completes a strong throw onto first. I think the Diamondbacks are taking a look at it. David has walked off the field.
Second double play in 2 innings turned by the Phillies. Both times Florimon got it started. So base is empty. 2 down. Ketel Marte 0 for 3. Starting to rain a little harder right now. It has been raining steadily since the top of the 5th inning, and it's expected to rain through game time tomorrow without a stop. Tomorrow's starting pitchers, by the way, Zach Greinke and Jake Arrieta. How about that matchup?
And you know, both managers want to make sure that their aces get their opportunity to go out there and pitch. Torrey's going to have to put his rain gear on again tomorrow, talk to the grounds crew, and the weather crew and see whether it's wise to send Zach out there to start the ball game, depending on the conditions.
And Arrieta has been tremendous so far for the Phillies. Yoshi Hirano set to go for the home half of this inning. Hoskins in left, backing up on the warning track, just shy of the wall, and he's got it. And we stretch in Philadelphia, bottom 7 on the way. The D-backs hanging on to a 1-run lead. Hey fans, be at Chase Field next weekend. The D-backs are hosting the World Series champs, the Houston Astros. Arrive early for the free Cinco de Mayo fiesta. Enjoy live music, a salsa tasting, a beer and margarita garden, and a whole lot more outside the ballpark. All the details, tickets online, the whole thing, dbacks.com/Cinco. Bottom 7, and the new pitcher for the D-backs is the right-hander Yoshi Hirano. His 11th appearance of the year so far, a 1.93 ERA. He gets the meat of the order here. Kingery, Hoskins, Altair, 3, 4, and 5 in the Phillies 7th. Kingery so far 0 for 3. He's punched out 3 times. All against Robbie Ray. Squares to bunt, takes a strike, 0-1. Scott Kingery out of Mountain Point High School in Ahwatukee. He was Pac-12 Player of the Year at U of A in 2015, when the Phillies got him with a 2nd-round draft pick. There's that splitter, 0-2.
A couple of good splitters to start the sequence. The first one, Kingery tried to bunt. That one he swung right through. Another one.
Kingery strikes out for the 4th time tonight. 1 down.
3 straight splitters. That one actually had a little bit of slider movement away from the right-handed hitter.
You don't see a lot of those when you're playing at Reading. Rhys Hoskins now. Hoskins has walked, singled, scored a run. Rhys Hoskins came up for his major league debut August 10th of last year. And since that date, he's got the 4th best OPS in baseball. On base percentage plus slugging percentage. Only J.D. Martinez, Aaron Judge, and Chris Bryant have been better since August 10th of last year.
Pretty good company.
Yeah.
As you said, he burst on the scene, hit, what, 11 homers in his first couple of weeks at the major league level, and you wonder, Jesus, this guy just a big old slugger. He's going to strike out a million times, but as you said, he got a great eye at the plate. He knows his strike zone pretty well.
Leading the majors in on-base percentage coming into the game tonight. 483, so he's getting on base almost half the time he's up there. Not bad for a guy who's not played a full major league season yet. He's only 25. You want to take a crack at the official crowd tonight? Pouring rain. The Sixers have a playoff game right on the other side of this parking lot.
29,000.
18,195. Only a few have left. I think the 195 is still here.
Yeah.
It has been raining steadily since the 5th inning.
I see that 66 on his undershirt right there. I keep coming back to the old Route 66. There's something there.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Talk to the marketing people. Throw your split on Route 66.
Whoa.
He walks Hoskins. He's on base for the 3rd time tonight. And here's Altair, who had a big hit in the ball game, a 2-run double in the 3rd. He's also walked. Did you get your I'm sorry, did you get your ice cream from Frank?
Yes, I did.
I just noticed that, seeing the ice cream ad back there. It's something that you have to do at the ballpark.
Yeah, Frank is a legend here. He was a legend at the old Vet before this ballpark.
The ice cream man in the media dining hall. Ahmed at shortstop. They get 1 and 2. Hirano rolls the double play and gets us to the 8th inning. It's 5-4 D-backs. Some big names coming to Chase Field next few weeks. D-backs will face Kershaw and Puig, the Dodgers, Verlander, Altuve, the Astros, Bryce Harper, and the Nats. Don't miss these matchups. Get your tickets, dbacks.com. Boy, how do we get this schedule?
No breather at all.
I mean, where are the Marlins? Where are the Reds?
Well, we have a slight delay on the field here as Dave McKay actually made a mistake.
He does this every once. I think he does this once a year. He forgets his helmet. He's so locked in what he's doing, he forgot. You know, you don't want to wear the helmet in the dugout. You change it for the cap when you're in there. But Goldie 0 for 3. Yaxel Rios, the right-hander, back out there for the Phillies. Well, we've seen Hirano in the 7th. Looks like Archie Bradley starting to get loose down there in the bullpen for the game. And it's over Rios' head. Here comes Hernandez from second, close at first, and Goldie beats it out. Infield single for Paul Goldschmidt.
Boy, one of the many things you love about Goldie. I mean, a lot of guys would have pounded this ball into the dirt and just jogged down to first base. That's a 4-3. Goldie busts it out of the box knowing the grass is wet. That's going to be a tough play for Hernandez to field that on a short hop and throw on the move, and he's able to leg it out for an infield hit.
Phillies are taking a look at this one, but we play on. Here's AJ, who singled and scored his last time up. Now with a 5-game hitting streak. Nope. Ed Hickok says 1-0 on Pollock. AJ, because of injuries and otherwise, has only played 6 games in this ballpark. His whole career, just 4 starts. He has homered here. Goldie takes off for second. Alfaro's got a big arm back there. He throws it into center field, and Goldie heads for third.
Goldie is not catching anybody by surprise anymore. The league is well aware of his capabilities. Hernandez just fanned on that ball. Looked like an easy to handle short hop. You could see Goldie leaning towards second base there, waiting to run. That one skips through into center field. He'll move on to third base.
Credit for a stolen base of second, advances to third on the error. The infield comes in for the Phillies. That's fouled back. Don't forget, we've got tomorrow's game for you. D-backs live pregame show at 3:30. First pitch at 4:05 back home in the great state of Arizona. And what a pitching matchup. Zach Greinke and Jake Arrieta. They hang the error on Alfaro on the throw, so Goldie, a stolen base, takes third on the E2. Chance to tack on another run here. 1-2 on AJ. It's a good time to get foul balls right now.
You might get a few of them if you want to hustle a little bit.
You can just walk. You might not even need to run. A thin crowd here on a cold and wet night with the 76ers playing a playoff game on the other side of the parking lot. They lead the Miami Heat in the 4th quarter. That's foul. Sixers are set to advance, it looks like. Good time to be a sports fan in Philly. The Eagles apparently won the Super Bowl Villanova. Sixers are doing good. Phillies are rolling right now.
You're having a little trouble getting your head around that Super Bowl.
As a native Bostonian, I'd just like to point out that 2 of those touchdowns shouldn't have counted. But I lost that debate here in the booth.
It looked like Alfaro blocked that ball with his bare hand that time. The slider in the dirt from Rios. Oh, actually, it was up against his body, and he just plucked it away quickly. I thought he blocked it with his hand.
He's got Goldie down there at third. 2-2 on Pollock. Bounced over and through. Here comes Goldie, 6-4. RBI single for AJ, his second hit tonight.
Well, on a wet, sloppy, muddy night, you don't expect this kind of a bounce. This is something you might have seen over at the old vet off the AstroTurf. Infield drawn in, and AJ just bounces it into center field for an RBI hit.
AJ 2 for 4. Here's Descalso. Daniel has struck out, flied out. He walked his last time up. And Pollock's on the run. Alfaro's throw is not in time, and AJ has got another stolen base.
Nothing on Alfaro right there. AJ was running as Rios was still standing on the rubber out there. Watch this jump. Can't really tell from this angle, but Rios was just standing on the rubber holding the ball, and AJ turned and took off for second base while he was standing there.
Well, Goldie, when he stole his base, was jumping out of his shoes waiting to make his break, so they must have something on Yaxel Rios. Here's a look at the jump.
Yeah, better look from this angle. he's got a 4 or 5 step head start. And Alfaro still made it relatively close down there at second base, even with that huge jump.
6 stolen bases on the year for Pollock. 2-0 on Descalso. Adam Morgan, the left-hander, starting to get loose in the Philly bullpen. Jim Gott coaching down there for the Phillies. Nick Ahmed on deck. This is Yukon weather for Nick. This is nothing. AJ breaks for third. Descalso hits a fly ball deep right field, and it's in the seats. Daniel Descalso. That's his third, and the D-backs have opened up a lead in the rain in Philadelphia. The 3-1 pitch is out of here.
Well, first of all, it's obvious the Diamondbacks have something on Rios because AJ was going to steal third base right there. Daniel Descalso gets a center cut fastball that time. Now, a lot of hitters don't like the runner at second base bouncing around or breaking toward third base because it distracts him in the batter's box. Not Daniel Descalso.
Third D-back home run tonight, and the third of the year for Daniel. A jumbo jack, a free jumbo jack tomorrow. At Jack in the Box for the purchase of a large drink. Nick Ahmed 0 for 2 with a walk. Now with an 8-4 lead and the rain out there, if you wanted to, you could pass over Archie and Brad Boxberger. Archie had been warming up with the bullpen, and it looks like they'll get a left-hander up now. Archie sitting down.
Now we're at that part of the Phillies lineup the 7, 8, 9 hitters, where Torrey told us he would try to keep a lefty to keep those left-handed bats on the bench.
And sure enough, Jorge De La Rosa starts to get loose. Rick Kranitz has been out there a whole bunch tonight. Very young pitching staff for the Phillies. D-backs now with 8 runs on 9 hits. They've hit 3 homers.
Three home runs on a night when runs figured to be at a premium. Cold and windy, and the rains came in the 5th inning.
Rio still has yet to record an out in this 8th inning. 2 singles and a homer. And he's behind on Ahmed 1-0. Nick walked and scored in the 5th. D-backs with 2 runs in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and now 3 already in here in the 8th. That's tap foul, 2-1. So the Phillies, who were only 1 win away from their best home start ever, 9-1 at home this year coming into tonight, are down 4 in the 8th inning. They'd won 7 straight home games. Big night for Alex Avila. 3 for 3, 2 singles, 2 RBIs, a home run. He scored twice. Alfaro needs a new mask.
Those 3 runs here in the top of the 8th inning so far, well, those are huge on a night like this. You know, the Phillies are battling, trying to stay in the ball game. They pull within a run, and then the Diamondbacks just kick in the afterburners, tack on a 3 spot already, maybe more here in the 8th. That's got to take a little wind out of your sails on a night like this.
Rest of the West is all in action now. The Rockies have opened up a 7-0 lead on the Padres in the 3rd inning in Colorado. Marlins and Dodgers just underway in LA. Nationals and Giants in San Francisco. Both those games bottom 1. Nick Kanchek on the 3-2 pitch strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. 1 down in the 8th. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing cool plays of the game. Alex Avila, the bat has come alive in Philly. 3 for 3, including a 2nd home run this year.
Long home run to right center field off the facing of the 2nd deck. He hit that ball hard right through the shift on the right side that the Phillies had, and then loops one over the 2nd baseman's head for another RBI hit.
Well, Gabe Kapler checking in with Gabe Morales. Will have a double switch here as the Phillies go to their bullpen with 1 out in the 8th inning. And we'll take a break. Back after this. on the mound. Here's the right-hander Drew Hutchison. An ERA just under 5 in 5 appearances this year. A double switch for Gabe Kapler as Aaron Altair comes out of the ball game. The center fielder Scott Kingery moves over from right field to center, and Nick Williams takes over in right field. Williams will bat ninth. Pitcher spot now 5th in the Philadelphia lineup. Here is Alex Avila. Phillies will put the shift on. 3 infielders on the right-hand side. Alex so far 3 for 3, including a home run.
Feeble attempt by the fans below the broadcast position here to try to start the wave.
Good for them. Maybe we ought to do one of them waves. Alex, with this big night, has brought his batting average up 70 points from where it started. An announced crowd of 18,195. I think we're down to the final 95. If that.
The wave only lasts about, a section and a half.
Is that Todd walking out there? I see. Is that Todd down there? It is. Todd Walsh. There's one guy over there walking down. He can spot Todd from a mile away. 2-2. Walking down toward the third base coach's box. Yeah, there's Todd. Good seat still available. Just stop, chat with some fans.
Making friends.
Sure. Alex strikes out. 2 down. It's glamorous work, television. Slogging your way through the rain. Gerard Dyson has walked and homered tonight. Todd will have D-backs live post-game show following our ball game. D-backs opening up a 6-game road trip, 3 in Philly and 3 in Washington, D.C. Pitcher spot is behind Dyson. John Ryan Murphy has come out in the on-deck circle. Jorge De La Rosa ready in the bullpen. Dyson's home run in the 3rd off Vince Velasquez, a no-doubter, his first of the year. He and Avila went back-to-back. D-backs had an early 2-0 lead. Phillies answered with 3 in the home half against Robbie Ray. Aaron Altair had a 2-run double. Maikel Franco an RBI sacrifice fly. And once it started to rain in the 5th inning, D-backs trailing 3-2. David Peralta had maybe the biggest hit all night. A 2-run double to give them the lead. As the rain continued, it's been raining ever since. So it was 4-3 D-backs. They got 1 in the 6th on an Avila RBI single. And now 3 more here in the 8th. Pollock an RBI single, Descalso a 2-run homer. And Murphy will hit for Hirano. John Ryan 261, he's homered twice.
Whatever it is that Dave McKay was able to garner from Yaxel Rios, it had to be done on video. Rios wasn't up here last year, hasn't been up here. Dave hasn't really had eyes on him live and in person, so anything he got off the video.
He is the master of the iPad. The rain right now is maybe the lightest it's been since the 5th inning when it started. 0-2. Cold and soggy here in Philly tonight. Sixers, the focus of attention in Philadelphia tonight. Their playoff game right across the parking lot here. They lead the Miami Heat in the fourth quarter, ready to advance to the next round. Two outs, Dyson at first. Here's the 0-2. Struck him out. But the D-backs add 3. Jorge De La Rosa coming on. It's 8-4 Diamondbacks.
On a medical mission, actually. This youngster from the Valley is getting an MRI tomorrow. He's got some hip issues, wants to get a second opinion, and I know that they reached out and contacted his family, did the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they turned this difficult trip into, well, a fantastic journey, because he was on the field, in the dugout, in the clubhouse, and that bat you see that he was holding is Gerard Dyson's bat, but there's more to the story. You see Alex Avila met him, walked up, held 3 bats and said, "You pick my bat for tonight."
Wow.
And I think we know what happened.
Pick me out a winner, Bobby.
Yeah. So I'm actually standing by Hunter with his family. They're by the Diamondbacks dugout. They've been here all night. He's got to be at the MRI tube tomorrow at 6 a.m. for a procedure at 7 and make their way back to the Valley. So he has a standing invitation to come out and hang out at D-Backs Live, our pre and post game set, because I just want to be around him, if you know what I mean.
He's got the magic touch.
Yes,
yeah.
he does.
Nice job. Here's Jorge De La Rosa on to work the bottom of the 8th inning, his 11th appearance and a 1.29 ERA.
I think Hunter might have a future as a D-backs bat boy. If that's all it takes, just pick one out and you hit a home run with it.
It's working out, especially when you're, Alex was at 114 coming into the year. 3 big hits tonight. Maikel Franco singled and scored in the 6th, had an RBI sac fly in the 3rd. He'll lead off the Phillies' 8th. D-backs have out hit the Phillies 9-7. They lead at 8-4. 3 D-backs home runs tonight. Avila and Dyson back to back in the 3rd. Descalso a 2-run shot in the 8th. Mix in David Peralta's huge 2-run double in the 5th inning, and those are all the big hits. I would say that Peralta's two-run double with the rain starting to come down in that 5th inning really did turn the tide. I mean, that was a huge moment there to give them a lead. You're not sure if you could even get through the 5th inning, let alone get this late into the ball game with the rain coming down. Marte, nice juggling act there for Cattell, and they retire Franco.
Yeah, it's funny when you find yourself in conditions like this where you know the rain is coming at some point. You have to fight the urge to turn it into a 5-inning game, you know, because as we've seen, we're here in the 8th inning now and we're still playing in the rain, but you want to definitely have the lead after 5 full innings just in case it gets really hard and the umpires decide to bang it.
Well, it's funny because I think Torrey resisted that temptation by letting Robbie Ray hit in that 5th inning. Just before Peralta had the big 2-run double, Robbie struck out. So maybe if you're just trying to make it a 5-inning game, you hit for Robbie Ray right there. And it worked out. Peralta really came through. Pedro Florimon, the shortstop, 1 for 3.
And I think part of that reasoning was what we talked about with Torrey. He told us before the ball game he wanted a lefty ready for those guys at the bottom of this Phillies lineup to keep those left-handed hitters on the bench. And that's where Robbie was in the bottom of the 5th inning. So that could possibly have entered into why he let him hit in that situation as well.
And he's used 2 of his left-handers here tonight, Chaffin and now De La Rosa.
Well, and he has not had to use TJ McFarland yet, and with the rain in the forecast again for tomorrow, you hate to think that you're going to rain out a Zach Greinke start, but if he happens to go out there and start the game and then the rains come, TJ McFarland is the long guy.
A little tapper to shortstop for Ahmed. Yeah, TJ, as we saw in LA when Taijuan Walker had to leave that game after 2 innings, can give you 3, 4, maybe even 5 if you really need it. Jorge Alfaro, the catcher, 0 for 3. He's punched out all 3 times. D-backs, if they can hang on, will improve to 16-6, the best record in the National League. It would be their 8th consecutive win in this ballpark, where not too long ago they once lost 18 of 22. They'll have the top of the order due up in the 9th. Peralta, Marte, and Goldie. Center field, AJ drifting over toward right center. De La Rosa works a 1-2-3 inning. D-backs have an 8-4 lead as we head to the 9th in Philly. in the opener of this 3-game series. Game 2 tomorrow. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. Look at this pitching matchup. Zach Greinke and Jake Arrieta. D-backs live pregame show at 3:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. Greinke and Arrieta, don't miss that. The weather is supposed to be bad during the day and then rain ending right around game time. So we're optimistic about tomorrow night.
We're going to test the ground crew here at Citizens Bank Park.
It's been raining as hard as you see it right now, basically since the 5th inning, half the game. TJ McFarland warming up in the bullpen. Well, Robbie Ray struggled through the 3rd. Struck out the side in the 4th. Not able to get through the 5th inning as this one is rolled to second. Tough play for Hernandez. And Peralta's got a 2nd hit tonight. So Robbie tonight went 4 2/3. You can have to check in with the official score as to who would be the winning pitcher for the D-backs. The 76ers have just won 104-91. And they've eliminated the Miami Heat 4 games to 1. It's too wet to take out your phone here, so no one's noticed. Here's Ketel Marte.
Good David Peralta with that infield hit to lead off the 9th inning here. One thing I noticed as David got to first base, watch him look to his right. He gets down the baseline. He knows it's going to be an awkward off-balance throw. He looks to his right to see if there was an overthrow. You look for the ball in foul territory. Don't wait for the coach to tell you. Take a peek over your right shoulder. If you see that ball bouncing over there in the dugout, keep on going.
One and one on Ketel Marte, who's 0 for 4. Bounced over the mound and throw into center. Peralta stops at second. A pair of singles open up the D-backs 9th.
A couple of very well placed singles.
A chance for Goldie. Goldie singled, stole a base, and scored a run his last time up, part of that 3-run D-backs 8th inning. He's 1 for 4. Diamondbacks now with 8 runs on 11 hits. Four for 9 tonight with runners in scoring position. Goldie has played 21 games here at Citizens Bank Park coming into tonight. And in those 21 games, he's got 7 homers and 19 RBIs.
Yikes.
So this is a good fit for him. Maybe not in these conditions. Drew Hutchison, the right-hander, back out there. He got the final 2 outs of the 8th.
Three straight sliders to Goldie here. Start this sequence. Changeup, I believe.
Got him.
That circle change looks like a fastball down the middle. You could see that tailing, sinking action as the ball got into the hitting zone. Goldie couldn't get a piece.
So a chance for AJ, who has singled twice and scored twice. He's got Peralta at second, Marte at first, 1 out.
splashing off the top of his helmet as he takes his stance.
It has been raining steadily since the 5th inning. Supposed to rain all night tonight and all day tomorrow, ending right around game time tomorrow night. That one gets to the backstop and the runners move up. It sailed on Hutchison there.
Zoom ball just lost the grip on this one. Tried to overthrow a fastball. Blew it right by everybody. We saw this defensive alignment for the Phillies in the outfield all night against AJ, bunching the corner outfielders toward the gaps, giving him the lines both in right field and left field. Somebody's going to make a mistake with an off-speed pitch, and AJ's going to hook it down to that left field corner. Run all day.
3 of the infielders come in. Franco still back a bit at third. Missed with a 3-1 and the bases are loaded. Second walk for Hutchison. Here comes Descalso, who homered his last time up. 8th inning, his 3rd of the year.
Another no-doubter. Well up into the bleachers out there in right field.
Daniels 10 home runs with the D-backs last year were a career high for him. He's already got 3 this year. Bases full of D-backs. Peralta is at third, Marte at second, and AJ at first. It's coming down now. Better than .360 career for Daniel Descalso with the bases full.
Good speed on the bases. If Daniel can find a gap or a corner here, might clear the bases.
The season high for runs is 9 for the Diamondbacks. They've done it twice. At home against the Rockies and at Dodger Stadium. That's a ground ball right to Santana. Steps on the bag, comes home, and they're able to cut down Peralta at the plates. Phillies are coming off the field. Jerry Narron on the phone with Alan Campbell in the video room.
Pretty nice play by Santana down there at first. The most obvious play, the ground ball kind of led him to the base. It looked like Alfaro had the plate blocked and had the ball in plenty of time there for the out at home plate.
So we'll head to the bottom of the 9th inning. 8-4 D-backs. finish line through the rain in Philly. D-backs have an 8-4 lead. And Torey Lovullo is going to his third left-hander in the bullpen. TJ McFarland on to start the bottom of the ninth. Nick Williams, who was double switched into the ball game in right field, will lead it off for the Phillies. Williams batting .217. He's got a homer. Another youngster they like a lot, only 24 years old. Robbie Ray went 4 2/3 tonight, meaning he is not eligible to get the victory. Didn't complete 5 innings. Fernando Salas is in line for the win. He got the final out of the 5th and 2 outs in the 6th. One and 2 on Nick Williams, who's less than thrilled with Gabe Morales' strike zone. And McFarland strikes him out. Todd Walsh standing by. D-backs live post-game show brought to you by CenturyLink follows our ball game.
TJ makes quick work. Nick Williams right there.
Here's Cesar Hernandez, the second baseman, who has singled twice and walked. He's got an RBI. He scored a run. This guy has really developed from sort of a utility type to a really solid second baseman, a switch hitter. Gets on base, a very steady guy for the Phillies. Gabe Kapler says he's an absolute rock. Very consistent. And he's had a good night tonight. Game 2 tomorrow night. Don't miss it. Zach Greinke and Jake Arrieta. D-backs live pregame show, 3:30 in the afternoon on Fox Sports Arizona. There's a strike 2 and 2. Matt Cook and Ben Lively will start the series finale Thursday. That's breakfast with the D-backs at 10:05 in the morning. First pitch Thursday. Roll to shortstop. Ahmed's got it. 2 down.
I know we're both looking forward to tomorrow's game, obviously. Quite a pitching matchup, and I want to see Matt Cook pitch again. I was really impressed with what we saw out of Cookie in his first start.
There's a lot to like about Matt Cook. Carlos Santana, last man standing. Singled and scored in the 3rd. He's 1 for 4. There's Matt Cook. Two and 2.
Yeah, I think that strike zone is getting a little bit bigger here in the bottom of the 9th after 4 hours of steady downpour.
It's just a little damp, that's all. Santana waves at that one. McFarland 2 strikeouts in the inning. And the D-backs win it 8-4. The best record in the National League, 16-6. They've won 8 straight ball games here at Citizens Bank Park.
And good to make a statement in the first game of this series. The Phillies off to a real good start after a rough beginning of the season, but they were feeling pretty good about themselves. Really important to take the first game of this series.
They snap a 7-game home winning streak for the Phillies. Philadelphia loses here for just the 2nd time all year. Salas gets the win. He's 3-1. Velasquez the loss. 3 hours and 49 minutes. The D-backs continue rolling along. 8-4 to open up this road trip. Up next, it's D-backs Live, brought to you by CenturyLink. Todd Walsh will have reaction from inside the clubhouse. You'll hear from Torey Lovullo, some of the players. A good start to the trip, 8-4. Back with more from Philly right after this.